to adjust mic. Alright. We should be live now. So welcome to a very, very special stream for multiple reasons. And you may have noticed, if you had seen my stream listed before, that I hurriedly changed the thumbnail because of some new plans that arose. So today, of course, is the wonderful launch of Baldurs Gate 3. A lot of excitement and hype going around about that. Today is a special stream because the 200 sub milestone was recently hit. And also, I have a guest with me today, a very good friend named Greg, who also happens to be GM. And he is here to answer any D&D related questions you may have, since Baldur's Gate is very heavily connected to D&D.
Is it? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Also a wise guy. So
Sometimes.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
So feel free to put your questions in the chat as I'm playing here. He's gonna be on the Discord call with me. He's also playing on his computer at home as well. But as the questions come in, we're happy to address them. I may be able to address them simply, but got the expert here, so it could be a good time. And I'm gonna start right from the beginning, at the very beginning, because I know that one area that has caused confusion for some players who do not have experience is the character creation. So that's where we're going to start. And Greg, I'm probably going to call on you as I'm going through that so that you can explain this.
Sure.
All right. So, we have a question from Brandon, actually. We don't? Oh. Apologies, it was not a question. It was a correction. My mic is cutting in and out a bit. I apologize for that. I'm going to move it a bit closer to me so that as I kind of move a little bit, you're not losing me, hopefully. So I'm going to just pull it towards me. Brandon, just, you can give me the heads up if it's happening again. Okay, so... Let me make sure we press new game and not continue, because I was playing this earlier on my own, of course. Couldn't help myself. Alright, so we're...
With our million saves right now.
Yep. So we are starting from scratch, and as the cinematics come on, I'll quiet down so you guys can actually watch it through, because some of you probably haven't seen them yet, so... Here we go. We are going to do a balanced playthrough, because... I enjoy the story, so I don't want it to be like terribly challenging and I keep dying. I want it to be a good experience for me and for you guys. But sometime in the future, I'm probably going to play this through on Tactician. So for now, we'll do balanced. Yeah.
Tactician.
All right, here we go. Get ready, guys.
Watch out for those super squishy mages.
The game volume needs to go up. Please let. Sorry to the... If the game volume needs to go up, just let me know. All right. So that was the very first cinematic. I'm sure some of you have already seen it. If you played early access, you have. Reset tutorials. No, don't reset them. We do not need tutorials. We will be the tutorials ourselves. All right, so basically what we saw in the beginning cutscene there was a mind flare, and the game will go into detail about what the heck that is and what it means. Yucky try or went into your eye and the eye of that other character there. Okay, so we're on character creation. And this is like one of the funnest parts of the game, in my mind anyway. We are going to be running a custom character. I think at some point I'll probably go back and play maybe one or two of the origin characters, but I think for a first playthrough, a custom character is really the way to go. You want to kind of pour your all into it and have the ultimate role-playing experience. So I already have most of what I want to do picked out, which will make this go a little bit quicker, but I will try to kind of explain as we go through things. Okay, so first we have the races. What kind of creature do you want to be in your playthrough? And there are a pretty decent amount of things to choose from. And some of them, if you're, a player of any kind of fantasy games, you'll probably be familiar with, right? Elves and halflings and dwarfs, those are all pretty familiar. The ones that might not be familiar to you would be tieflings, drow, and Githyanki. Maybe dragonborn as well. That might be unfamiliar, but the other ones are probably familiar. So for my playthrough, I am going to be playing an elf, but if there are any questions on the different kinds of races here, please let us know. DM is ready and available to take questions. Excuse me. And there are going to be advantages to, each of these races. Some may be considered better than others, and actually I guess that's a good opportunity to ask you, Mr. DM, out of the races available Baldurs Gate 3, do you think that any of them really have a steep advantage here over the others?
I mean, kind of subjective. Some of it is going to be character choice. Other parts of it are going to be what are you looking to do as your character. The other part of it is somewhat based on stats and abilities, which are just based on the race themselves, but all of that stuff feeds together. So it's never anything like, oh, this is always going to be better than one thing. You have to look at what is it you want to do first, and then you can kind of move it from there and being like, okay, well, this one, if I want to do this, if I want to be a fighter, then maybe I'm going to do human because they already start with an extra feat, or they start with extra stats and everything from there. So it's one of those kind of things. So if you're looking more like you want more extra things that you can just inherently do, then you might want to play as something else. If you like something else other than a human. If you want to do more just combat focused, just melee, human is definitely not a bad choice, but humans as well, because they have the bonuses to their stats and the extra feat right from the get-go, whereas everybody else will only be able to gain feats at levels 4, 8, 12, and 16, I think 18 sometimes. But aside from that, you're already at a huge advantage, so you can increase your stats further. You can take extra feats like Warcaster right from the beginning. There's a ton of different things. But yeah, I guess short answer, no. So yeah, short answer, really not so much that I would consider as overall better or worse. Because it really all just depends on character choice, on personal preference, on your own play style, whatever it is you want to do.
Right.
And going from there.
That makes sense to me. Now, you were talking about some of the benefits that humans have. Are those benefits present in Baldur's Gate 3, though? Because I know they've made a few tweaks. These ones are. Okay, just one.
Yep. So if you click on human, and which it looks like you are.
Yep.
They've got a couple of bonuses. I think most of it is gonna change once you pick your class and your background.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and click on abilities. Yeah. So if you you don't even need to do that. If you go to the origin, actually, where you pick race.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm flipping back and forth to screens here. So yeah, under race features right there. If you just hover over some of those. Like the yep. So base racial speed, civil militia, so they have increased weapons proficiency, and they've got an extra skill they can be proficient in. A lot of them also had, I don't know if that's available, it might be under abilities or something else, but typically they could add an additional +1 to their stat block and whatever ability they wanted.
This one?
So they get
bonus +1.
Doesn't look like they have it, but otherwise they had like an extra. You can either choose to take a feat in D&D, or you can choose to put an extra point into another ability score that you wanted. So that might push you up to the next tier to get the next bonus. So it's all sorts of stuff like that.
Okay. Hey, OFG. All right, cool.
Hello.
So there are some benefits to being a human, even if it may be boring for some. There are some benefits, so that's good. There's some incentive. All right. So for this playthrough, I am going to be an elf. Now I feel like I'm almost working against myself here because I want to be a high elf, but I'm also going to be a ranger, and like wood elf would be the obvious choice there, right?
Again, depends.
Yeah.
But if you want to go for the straight stereotypical stuff, yeah, wood elf, because they have. If you want to be sneaky, and you want to be, the sneaky ranger hiding in the boughs of the canopy and all this other stuff, then yeah. They have the increased movement speed. They've got stealth proficiency, short bow proficiencies, and all that other stuff. So all of that attributes and benefits the ranger class.
Right. Yeah. Which, again, it probably makes more sense, but I don't know. I guess I'm going rogue here because I'm gonna do high elf ranger. So we'll see.
Do it.
Okay. So there's an elf. We've chosen high elf. Now we're looking at high elf cantrips. So, how about you explain to the audience a little summary of what a cantrip is?
Cantrip is something that you've done so many times that you just always know it. It's usually not crazy strong, but it's something that you've just very much you were already able to do when you first started being able to do magic. And it was just like, oh, this is quick, this is done, here you go.
Okay. So it's something that you've become accustomed to, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like it doesn't require any extra strenuous activity or fortitude or anything to be able to do this, because you can just continuously do it all the time at will.
Right. Yeah, and that's a really good point about cantrips. One of the big differentials between cantrips and regular spells, right, is that a cantrip is repeatable. You don't have to take a rest and regain your spell slots. We can talk about that more. To use a cantrip, you can just boom, 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 keep going.
Exactly.
So I have a good number of potential cantrips here for my high elf. The high elf, one of the features of them is getting this free cantrip. So let's take a look here. We've got Acid Splash, we've got Bone Chill, Firebolt, don't worry, we'll go over this. Poison Spray, Ray of Frost, Shocking Grasp, Blade Ward, Friends, Dancing Lights, Light, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, and True Strike. So if you're not familiar with D&D, all of that probably just sounded like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So let's talk about it a little bit. Some of these are probably self-explanatory from their names, right? Like Acid Splash. Okay, it does acid damage. And acid damage is a type of damage that is going to eat away at armor, I believe, Greg? Is that correct? It does damage to armor? Yeah.
Yep. Typically, I think the way that they have it in this one is that the acid damage lowers a target's AC by 1.
Okay, and AC is armor class. And actually, we probably need to explain that a little bit too, because that is specifically a D&D thing, or a tabletop role-playing game thing. So let's get a little summary of armor class.
So yeah, armor class is basically how hard it is for somebody to hit you with either a spell that requires an attack roll. So for when you're rolling dice and you're trying to see if something hits or not, that's what your roll is combated against. Okay. So for instance, if you roll 12 and your AC is 10, then they hit you. If you roll a 14 and your AC is 14, then meets beats. So they still hit you. If they roll a 9 and your AC is 18, guess what? Nothing's touched you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so essentially your armor class is, as you said, just how hard is it to hit you? And your armor class can be increased by the armor that you wear. And shields.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so that's Acid Splash. We've got Bone Chill. Bone Chill is necrotic damage. So what's special about necrotic damage?
So a lot of things usually don't have resistance to necrotic damage, so that's a win right there. So a lot of things might have resistances to more of the elements as opposed to any extra kind of damage type, like force damage or necrotic or radiant, stuff like that. But Bone Chill is nice because it also prevents a target from regaining health until their next turn. So if you've got an enemy that's continuously healing or there's a repetitive thing going on, you can keep doing that and that'll negate that whole ability, thus making the fight a little bit easier.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Firebolt, pretty self-explanatory. It deals fire damage. You can set things on fire. It's a good time, especially with oil spills. Poison Spray, also pretty self-explanatory. It is a poison type damage. I think a poison damage is relatively familiar to people who play games. Ray of Frost, it's cold damage, potential to cause the freezing effect or to slow movement speed. You'll see, I'm pointing with my finger here, and I don't know how well it's going to show up on screen, but reduces the target's movement speed by 3 meters. Shocking Grasp is lightning type damage. And I believe lightning type damage has the potential to shock the person and temporarily paralyze them.
Correct. Yep. If they're standing on like the surface or something like that, usually just based on the spell itself, it doesn't normally do anything extra unless it says so in the spell description. But if it looks like they're doing this kind of like science rules, which is great.
Yeah.
So like if you're standing in water and somebody shoots a lightning bolt at you, it's going to electrify the water and then you're going to be screwed.
You're toasty. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Next we have Blade Ward. Now, Blade Ward is not really obvious from the name, but if you look at the description here, it's basically like a support spell. It halves the damage from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing attacks. So bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing has to do with the type of weapon that is being used against you. Friends, this is kind of a support type spell too. It gives you advantage on charisma checks against non-hostile creatures. So throughout the game, there are going to be checks, and these checks are these dice rolls going on in the background. Now, sometimes you will actually see it happening on screen. You will participate in that, and some of them are going on in the background that you will not see. Gaining advantage on a check basically means that there are 2 opportunities to pass that check or that roll. It means that you're rolling twice and you're taking the higher number of those 2 rolls. Did I get that all correct, Mr. DM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Nope, you got it.
All right. So this is giving you advantage or 2 opportunities to pass that charisma check against a non-hostile creature. Non-hostile as in it's not attacking you. We've got Dancing Lights. This is basically just a spell to illuminate the area around you, which can be helpful, I would say, for creatures that do not have something called dark vision. And dark vision is basically just like it sounds. It means that you can see in the dark. Then there's also light, which I guess is pretty similar to Dancing Lights, but it's infusing an object with light, whereas Dancing Lights, I think, is something that happens around you. Is that correct?
Yeah, and in this one, and specifically in Baldur's Gate 3, it takes a different kind of form. This one, as far as I've been able to work out anyway, it just appears and hovers in a space where you choose. You can't really move it. You can't do anything else.
It doesn't move with you. You put it in a space and it stays there. Gotcha.
And it stays there, which is different than the actual D&D version.
Right.
Because in the D&D version, you can actually move and manipulate those lights all around,
right,
which is incredibly useful. However, this one, they just kind of appear and stay there. So if you're trying to decide between Dancing Lights and light, personally, I think you'd have more luck with light.
Right, being able to put it on an object and bring that object with you. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Next, we have Mage Hand. So this is creating a hand, a spectral hand that can interact with things, can manipulate things. So this might seem like kind of like, why would you use that, right? Like, how is this useful? Mage Hand can come really in handy when you want to interact with something that you're not sure is safe. Because if the Mage Hand is interacting with it and like an explosion goes off, for instance, well, that Mage Hand is just going to get damaged and disappear. Versus you going up, pushing the button, and boom, you're down. So Mage Hand is helpful for those situations, but I'm sure it's helpful for other ones too, Mr. DM. And I'm wondering if you can think of any examples where Mage Hand would be handy other than the interaction with potentially dangerous objects.
I mean, I'm not sure very much how it's used in this game. I haven't explored Mage Hand a lot, but I mean,
for D&D in general.
Yeah, for D&D, the only things you can't do with it, you can't attack with it.
Okay.
You can only hold up to 10 pounds, and you can't attack with it. So, if it's in your imagination and it fits within those guidelines, sky's the limit. I mean, me personally as a DM, I like to reward players' ingenuity. If they think of something, if they can describe it, yeah, go for it. I want to see how it works. I'll still have you roll for it, but, you know.
All right. So Mage Hand can be, don't mind the pun, but pretty handy. All right. I know, terrible. All right. Wow. And next we have Minor Illusion, which is creating an illusion to get other nearby creatures to go investigate that instead of you, essentially. And I believe that the illusion is just supposed to be like a replica of yourself?
Yes, it's supposed to be. In this game, I think, anyway. In D&D, you can have it fill a 5-foot cube. That's all it is. So
that's the only limit on what they're seeing. Okay.
Yeah, like it's something small. Like you might not be able to make true detail or something with it, depending on how big or small it is. But typically it's just something small like, oh, I just made a bird just fly that way really quick, and
Right.
that's it. Usually it stays in place, you can't move it. So I haven't gotten a chance to use a lot of these cantrips in this game just yet,
Mhm.
but I'm intrigued to see how they actually work and interact.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, last one, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. The last one is True Strike. This is, again, a support type cantrip. You gain advantage. Remember what we said about advantage on your next attack roll. So a lot of things in this game come down to rolls. The D20 dice is, you can almost think of it like kind of the god of this game. So a lot of things have to do with the rolls that are going on. But there are things that influence those rolls, like this here, gaining advantage on that next attack roll. All right, so I know that was a lot of explaining, but I think this is really good information for people who are new to the D&D world. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick my cantrip, and honestly, like, there are a lot of cool things here, but I kind of want to stick with the default of Firebolt because I know that Larian is really good about environmental interactions. So being able to set things on fire could be really amusing. So we're going to go with Firebolt for that reason mainly. All right, now we're on to classes. And I know this is an area where people can get a little overwhelmed and be like, oh my god, so many choices, and they all sound cool. Which I totally understand.
True story.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know Mr. DM who can't make up his mind. Yeah, so like I said, I kind of pre-made up my mind just so that I wouldn't take like absolutely forever being like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to be playing a ranger. But obviously there are a lot of great class choices here. Some of them are very physical focused, some of them are very spell focused, some of them kind of do a little bit of both. So just really quick fire off here. You know, if you want a physical focused character, if you're more about like going with your sword swinging, barbarian is an excellent choice because they are very much about just kind of unleashing their rage on the battlefield. Fighters are solid too. They are very much about swinging that sword. Now, rogues are obviously going to be a different style, but they're still very physical focused. But they like to be stealthy. They like to kind of sneak around. They like to get in extra damage through that sneaking. Let me go over here. Ranger is a physical class as well. But there is a little bit of, spellcasting that can be rolled in there. Monk is interesting because there are subclasses that go with these classes too. You're not going to see them right now because they unlock as you level up. But the monk, although a very physically based class, actually does have a subclass option to get into spellcasting. So very interesting. And then I would say, you've got the sorcerer, warlock, and wizard. Those are all, you can kind of tell from the name. Those are all spellcasters. And then you've got some that kind of hover in between the two worlds, I'd say. The bard, the cleric, the druid, the paladin. I kind of feel like they walk both worlds. And you can build the characters, leaning one way or the other, depending on your play style. But it's nice that it gives you access to kind of both. And if you have any questions on any of the classes, please feel free to put them in the chat. But for me, I am going ranger. I like battling with bows. I like ranged attacks. Also, the ranger has a subclass that I'm very fond of called the Beastmaster. And I'm really looking forward to that because it's very focused on the relationships that you form with creatures, being able to talk to them and interact with them, and you also get access to a pet of sorts. All right. Favored enemy. Okay, so this is specific to the ranger. All right, so studying the tactics and abilities of certain creatures has granted you a set of abilities that is useful in a variety of situations. And we have several different, several different options here. So if we choose Bounty Hunter, we will gain proficiency in investigation. Proficiency, basically means like that's something that you are specialized in. Creatures you hit with Ensnaring Strike, either ranged or melee, have disadvantage. So the opposite of what we were talking earlier with advantage. Disadvantage on their saving throw. Can you describe disadvantage a little bit more? I know I went over advantage pretty well earlier, but disadvantage, I wouldn't say it's like... would you say it's exactly the opposite, or...
Yeah. It is exactly the opposite.
So it's two rolls and then you take the lesser, right? Like whichever roll is lower? Okay.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
All right, wanted to make sure I had that correct.
Yep, no problem.
Next is Keeper of the Veil. You specialize in hunting creatures from other planes of existence. You gain proficiency in Arcana, so think spells, and can cast Protection from Good and Evil. That's an additional spell that you'd get access to. I'm just... ooped my mic there. Mage Breaker, you have a history of battling spellcasters, so you gain proficiency in Arcana and can cast True Strike. But True Strike is something we actually already have access to through our cantrips. Ranger Knight, you have sworn to serve a crown or nation and seek to bring its foes to ruin. You gain skill proficiency in history and armor proficiency in heavy armor. Can you talk a little bit about what it means to have proficiency in weapon types and armor, and what happens when you don't have proficiency and you're wearing an armor or using a weapon that you don't have proficiency in?
Yep. So proficiency is your proficiency bonus. It's the number that is generated when your character gets to certain levels, and it goes up only at certain levels, like 5 and 9 or 8. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But so you start out at 2. Your starting proficiency bonus is always going to be 2. So whenever you're determining spell saves or whatever, it's you take your 8 plus your proficiency bonus and your spellcasting modifier, and that's how you get your spell save DC, which is another thing entirely. I'm getting off the rails. Apologies. So but no, so that proficiency bonus is used to increase or show your growth as a character. So there are things that you're not going to be trained in, that you don't have any skills in, or that you have no idea what to do with it. However, as you grow and mature and get older, just like real life, your skills hopefully improve. So your proficiency bonus is basically the indication of how that works. That's all that is. So if you wear armor, if you use a weapon that you're not proficient in, hey, guess what? You're not going to be very good with that weapon. That's all it translates to.
All right, excellent.
Armor, you usually have disadvantage on like stealth as well. If that's the case, if it's like medium or heavy armor, typically that's how that works, I think, in addition to not being able to wear it. Because the way I view it is like, oh, I just don't understand how any of this is put together. Right. That's how I view, like, oh, I don't have proficiency in this armor. I just don't know how to put it on.
Gotcha. Okay. That's a good way to visualize it, right?
I hope so. That's how I do it.
Hey, Kevin. Sorry to hear about jury duty, but it's going good over here. Glad you could make it. I have Mr. DM Greg on the call with me to answer all D&D questions, but I know you won't have any D&D questions because you DM too. So we actually have 2 DMs available right now, so we're just full of knowledge. We are bursting over on knowledge. So awesome. All right, I left off on Ranger Knight, so the last one is Sanctified Stalker. You swore to hunt the enemies of a holy or druidic order. You gain proficiency in religion and can cast Sacred Flame. So that one's interesting, because it gives us access to something that we do not have, Sacred Flame. I don't really care so much about the proficiency in religion thing, although it can be helpful, to be fair. You're full of something. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Oh, choices. This choice I was not prepared for because I forgot about this. So bear with me a moment here. Proficiency in investigation would be cool. You should have a searing strike, have disadvantage. That one's pretty cool. History. So I think I'm gonna go for Bounty Hunter. I like the sound of that one's proficiency in investigation. Creatures you hit with a snaring strike have disadvantage on their saving throw. That sounds fun. Download only got to 70%. I had to head out. Ugh, I'm sorry. That sucks.
No.
That definitely sucks.
The worst.
It is. Natural Explorer. Okay, years of traveling in the wild have made you particularly attuned to beasts or adept at surviving in certain environments. Well, this is easy for me. I want to do Beast Tamer, obviously. Why would I choose anything else? But, sorry, I will read the other ones though, but I'm definitely doing Beast Tamer. So Urban Tracker, an expert at navigating the wild within the city, you gain proficiency, in Sleight of Hand. Wasteland Wanderer Cold, you have spent endless days surviving desolate tundras, you gain resistance to cold damage. And then these are basically the same. So Wasteland Wanderer Fire, so you're gaining resistance to fire. And then Wasteland Wanderer Poison, you're gaining resistance to poison. But Beast Tamer is for me. You have cultivated a strong bond with animals. You can cast Find Familiar without expending a spell slot. Heck yeah. Okay.
Anytime you can conserve those spell slots, awesome.
Yep, for sure. Okay, now we gotta choose backgrounds, and backgrounds are really cool because they influence your skills. So there's a bunch of different types of backgrounds here, and we'll just kind of look at the skills that they influence. Some of this can kind of be gathered by the name itself, Acolyte. Okay, so, you know, Worshipper. So the skills it gives you are Insight and Religion. Charlatan, so you're a manipulator, so it makes sense, right? Deception, Sleight of Hand. Criminal, also makes sense. Deception and Stealth. Entertainer, so you like to entertain audiences. You like to be the center of attention, so Acrobatics and Performance. Folk Hero, you are a champion of common people. You're a champion of animals and helpless people, so Animal Handling and Survival. Guild Artisan, you have a particular craft that you have honed, so Insight and Persuasion. Noble, so you're a social elite, so History and Persuasion. Outlander, you grew up in the wilds. Athletics and Survival. I'm sorry, I'm going through these quick. Please let me know if you have any questions. Sage, so almost kind of like a hermit, but more focused on like the knowledge gathering part of it. Arcana and History. Soldier, so you have battlefield tactics. You've been on the battlefield and you know how to survive a battlefield, so Athletics and Intimidation. And then Urchin, you grew up on the streets and you had to become street smart, Sleight of Hand and Stealth. Okay, that was a lot thrown all at you guys, so again, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. That's fine. Now, what makes the most sense for the character that I am building, because there is going to be such a focus on animals, is actually Folk Hero, because of the animal handling skill. So the influence that I can have over animals. Also, as it says there, pet all of the dogs. And I mean, you gotta pet all of the dogs, right? Like, what are you doing if you're not petting all of the dogs?
You've chosen very poorly if that's the case.
Your life is wasted. So we're gonna go with Folk Hero for my character. The other skill here is Survival. So just as it says, being able to stay alive in the wilds and track your prey. So it really makes sense for a ranger class. All right, and lastly, for the more mechanical stuff, because I still got to do appearance, is ability points. And I know this one's been a tricky one for some people. Again, if you're not familiar with D&D, this can kind of look like, what am I looking at here? Now, a lot of people are familiar with, what these abilities stand for, right? When you hear strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, you generally know what that's for. But the system of the stats and the numbers, that might not click for you if you're unfamiliar with D&D. Oh, you have questions on ability points? We might have a question. Hold on. Because I'm not sure if you meant I'm not sure if you meant that you have questions on abilities or backgrounds, and I just went too fast. You want to wait till I get to the corrects? Okay. So yes, even if you're familiar with generally what those abilities stands for, you might not be familiar with the numeric system behind it. So this is probably a good part for me to hand it off to you, Greg, because I know what it is, but you're probably going to describe it better than me. So could you give just kind of a summary?
That much.
Sorry. Could you just kind of give a summary of the numeric system with the ability points and why it matters, what number it is and where you get those bonuses?
Yep. So basically anything above 10 is going to get a bonus, and you only increase your bonus on every even number. So if you have a whole bunch of odd numbers, you're going to be at the lower bonus. So if you have a 10, you're at 0. If you have 12, you're at +1. If you have 14, +2, and so on and so forth, up until basically a max. In D&D world, it's a max of +5. If you have a stat that's 20. It's possible to go above 20, but that's usually only because you have certain items or something as well. Now, anytime you have a bunch of odd numbers on your skill tree for your stat points and whatnot, then you're still only going to be at that lower one. So if you have a 13, you're going to still have a +1 bonus instead of a +2. It doesn't round up. It always rounds down.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's the same going opposite.
Going negative.
On every even, so on every even number below 10, you're going to subtract 1. So on 8, it's -1. On 6, it's -2. Thankfully, because for Baldur's Gate, all of this is on point buy. It's on the point buy system. So typically what point buy was is you have, I think it's around 27 or 29 points or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
that you can use wherever you see fit to put in whatever stat you want. But each time you increase it, the cost of it goes up a little bit. So if you increase a certain skill, it goes up by another point or two. And then once you get to 14 or something, or 12, you have to have 3 points to get to the next one, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
So in point buy, with the rules as they are in D&D, you can basically only get up to 15 as your max. So from there, that's where you're looking to assign your racial bonuses from whatever class you chose.
Okay.
Thankfully, Baldur's Gate made it so that you don't necessarily need to care what race you're choosing if you're choosing solely based on what stat bonuses they have inherently. In D&D, they have it for specific stats instead, but otherwise in Baldur's Gate 3, hey, anything goes. So for this one, you can just decide, oh, I want to do a full strength gnome, and they don't have bonuses to strength in the D&D 5th edition handbook,
Right.
where, hey, guess what? I can put them in that now. I can put +2 to strength as my racial bonus.
Right.
So that's great. You don't have to worry about it from there. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much how those work.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate was trying to make it a little more accessible to people.
Yeah.
And give you a little more flexibility so that if you want to be a barbarian gnome, it's doable. You're not going to really pay for it. Okay, we have a question. Why do tieflings make the best Oh, sorry, that's not a question. That's a statement. Tieflings make the best warlocks with the natural +2 charisma.
Correct.
Okay, so thank you for that explanation. So, you'll see two things here. Under ability points, you'll see something that's currently grayed out because it's being used, which is use recommended, and then you'll see clear. So if you are not familiar with D&D, definitely use the recommended settings, because what it's doing is it's putting the ability points in the areas that it believes is best, or I should say knows is best, for the type of character you're running, for the class that you're running. So it's automatically calculating for you. Now, if you really know D&D well, which I know some of you do, and you want to just completely do this on your own, then you can just hit clear and it'll reset, and you can put the points wherever you want them. But generally, I would say do the recommended settings, at least the first time you play. Okay, so I'm also going to use the recommended settings just because I find it a bit easier. But one thing that I do, which is probably not recommended, is I hate having negatives, even if it's in an ability that really doesn't matter to my class. I just don't want negatives. So what I do here that is probably going to drive my DM friend nuts is I'm going to put that +2 under intelligence, so that it goes up to 10. Yeah, see? So it goes up to 10, and I don't get the negative, because I want neutral or positive across the board. And I know that's not, like, really the way you should do it, but that's how I always do it, so...
I will say this, though. That is a smart thing to do, because you chose a cantrip as your... So you chose an attack spell for your cantrip for the racial bonus for your high elf. So that is a good choice to do, because that way when you use your cantrip, you're not doing so at a disadvantage. This way, when you cast your spell, you have a 0 modifier, which is way better than a negative modifier.
One. Yeah.
Because the cantrip for the high elf is scaled based off of intelligence.
Right.
So that's, you kind of got to keep those things in mind when you're doing stuff like that.
That's a good point, actually. So generally speaking, not recommended, but because I'm doing something a little bit weird here and running a high elf ranger, it works out. Then I also have the +1 bonus, which I think I'm actually going to put under dexterity instead of wisdom where it had it, which will bring up my bonus to +3. Okay, so there is a question for you now. A lot of character builders, both for D&D and Baldur's Gate, default you to having odd number stats, but you only get bonuses at even numbers. So any thoughts on that? Why do they default you to odd numbers when your bonuses only come in at even numbers? Is there some hidden strategy to having dangling odd numbers after character creation?
Yes. And again, that depends on how you're going to play later on.
Okay.
If you know... So when I was talking about the feats and everything before, on those even numbers, every 4 levels, I think it is just about anyway for most characters, most classes, it's about, because it's based off of those feats and ability point increases. Milestones are based on your class, not your race. So when you take those feats, some of them have increases to stats that you can choose from. Or if you don't want a feat, you can choose to put in points to 2 different stats, or put 2 points into 1 stat. So you can further increase those beyond what you were able to do at the start of the game.
Okay.
And that's still for D&D as well. So it's a question of, do you know that you're going to be doing a bunch of feats that are going to be giving you those bonuses to increase those stats? No? Okay, well, try and round them all out as best you can.
Gotcha.
If you are taking a whole bunch of them that either are going to increase your stats to begin with, or if you're going to take several feats you know of that will put a point into those stats later on, you can subtract a point from there, or 2 points depending on what you're doing.
Okay. All right, so it's almost like you got to do like a little future planning. in that case.
Correct.
Okay.
A little bit, not so much. If you're not, honestly, is it going to matter too much right at the start of this game if you're not sure how to do it, anything with it, and you don't really want to mess anything up? Use the recommended and go from there. You'll see later on where you can or can't increase stuff.
Gotcha. And there is also the ability, this is important, there's the ability to respec in this game. So if for some reason you go through Character Creator and you're like, oh man, I kind of screwed up there. Like, I used the recommended, but I don't think it was quite right. Not for the type of build I was doing. You will have the opportunity later in the game with a character you meet in Act 1 to respec your character and your party members as well. So very important. All right, excellent. Oh, we've got another question. How many in-game stat boosts are there, i.e. +1 at every 4 levels?
Yeah,
go ahead.
You have them at almost every 4 levels. However, it's not anything that it's guaranteed. So once you get to level 4, you have to choose to put those points into a stat. And it's not like you increase all of your stats by 1 every single time you get to that point. And when you get to that milestone, you can put 2 points into 1 stat, 1 point into 2 stats, or you can take a feat. That's all.
Right. And that's a good point too, is like you have to purposely go for the stat increase and give up the ability to take a feat. And actually that kind of brings up a good follow-up question. You know, some people may not be familiar with feats. So what the heck is a feat?
Yeah. It's an extra thing that you can do through training or whatever. It's, you spend some time, some study, you put some effort in, and hey, guess what? Now you learned this cool new ability. That's kind of what I choose to believe it as.
It's almost like adding to your repertoire of skills.
Yeah. And so, Jeremy saying there's usually at minimum 4 stat or feat milestones. So it's not, I think you were asking how many there were in the game. There's usually on average minimum 4. I think fighters and barbarians might get an extra 1 or 2, so they actually get 5 times where they can increase an ability or get a feat. But most classes, most of the time, are only going to have 4.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Brandon and Jeremy, for the questions. All right, so we've got our ability points set up here. And the only thing left to do is the appearance, which we all know that's the most fun part of creating a character, right? Is getting the appearance down. I will try to speed through this because I know this is not everyone's cup of tea. So let's see. That's fine. Okay. So we will do kind of a warm skin tone. I personally like a little bit of scarring on my character, but I don't know, that's just me. I think it looks cool.
I usually always have that like left eye scar.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna give her a little bit of freckling. You can continue to ask questions, by the way. You don't have to stop just because I'm at the appearance part. I like a little bit of freckling. I think it's cute. We're just going to leave genitals at default. Okay? I checked it out on my single player playthrough just to see what the heck it was all about. It's not something that I can stream, I don't think, so we're just going with the default. I can assure you it's normal. Okay.
Clothes are staying on.
Yeah, the clothes need to stay on, that's right. Okay, so body art. I always like to put a little bit of this on because I think these are cool. Let's see. I'd like something that looks kind of nature-like. Ooh, here we go. The branches. That looks very rangery, huh? Let's change the color though. Maybe like a dark green. All right. Piercing. We can give her piercings. We can do an eyebrow ring with some earrings. I got some where it's just earrings, lots of piercings. Just studs. Doop-doops. This one's kind of cool because it gives you like different piercing along the ears. Actually, I like that one. Let's go with that one. That one's nice. All right, eyes. Cool little feature that they added to BG3 is the heterochromia, so that you can have different colored eyes. So yeah, let's do that. That's always interesting, right? So we'll have one eye that is green. And then we'll make the other one... maybe just a different shade of green. Can you really tell the difference? Yeah, you can. Yeah, let's do this one. That looks cool. Alright, makeup. Do something simple. Oh, I didn't even see that. I don't know. Oh, okay, I got it. Interesting. Okay, lip tint. I'll just go for something that looks kind of natural. Almond gloss on there. Oop, that is way too... looking for something that's a little bit darker, but maybe that one. Okay. All right, and hair. Hair is my favorite part. So let's see here. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I always like this one, the braids to the side. I think that looks cool. Tight bun. Doo. The messy ponytail is always nice. One's cool. We could go for a short haircut. Oh, you know, short hair doesn't look bad on her, actually. What's this one? This one is ponytail with some braids. That looks pretty good. I'm going to be skipping around here a little bit because there is just like a crap ton of potential hairstyles, which is great, but it can take a while. Let's do... I liked the looks of... I gotta find it again. Nope. Not that one. That one. Oh dear, I've lost it. We'll find it.
Bring it back.
We'll find it or I'll end up picking a different one. Oh, this one's cool too. Shaved head with the ponytail.
Oh, there it is, right on the right.
Huh? Where? This one?
I think it's to the right of that one.
This one?
The one that you have currently selected, yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool.
There you go.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go with this one. I think that's cool. And we're gonna go for darker hair. Ooh, what's that? Brown auburn. That's a nice color. Let's do that one. We can give her some highlights. Maybe some dark red highlights. So it's complementary. Graying. She's young. We'll keep graying at 0. Okay. And there are different body types. I'm just going with the standard body type. The body types, there's not a lot to it though. It's basically just male, female, and then do you want to be kind of like a, I guess I would say average size, or do you want to be a little bit larger? We're just going to go for average size. All right, so that is character creation. And I know that took the first hour of the stream because we had a lot to talk about. Thank you for bearing with us. So we are going to dive in now. Well, almost now. Hold on. I apologize. We have to name our character. I'm going to go with my standard name of Israel. Now we need to create what they're calling a guardian. They used to say, you know, whom do you desire? So this is the character that's going to show up in your dreams. I'll just put it like that. So for mine, I guess I'll go with another elf. We will make it a guy. And sure, high elf for subrace is fine. Let's give him a nice face. Make you a little bit darker, though. That's a good tan. All right.
Get some sun.
Let's give you a scar. Okay. Are looks important to you? Specifically, if you like the appearance of elves, would you choose to play an elf, even if their racial powers were inferior to those of a very different looking race? I'm gonna say a little bit of yes and no. So, I do like the way the elves look. That is definitely something that appeals to me as a player. I've always really liked the aesthetic of elves, so I am a little predispositioned towards that race. However, if I didn't feel like they had anything really going for them in terms of like their potential, their skills, their abilities and stuff, then their looks alone wouldn't be enough for me to be like, I'm always going to play this, even though, you know, there are better choices out there. So although I will lean towards elf, I'm not always going to choose elf. In my playthrough with Greg, who is on the call with us right now, and then a few other, my husband and another friend, I'm actually going to be playing a half orc. Because I've never played one before, and I want to experiment and have fun with it and experience different things. And in my D&D campaign, I am playing a Harengon. So I do like to experiment with other races. But yes, there's a little bit of a predisposition to elves because I think they're really cool. Not just the way they look, though. I think they're cool in general. Lord of the Rings is really kind of the culprit for that one, to be honest. They got me really into it. Okay, so we're gonna keep things relatively simple with this guy. I am gonna put some art on him just cause it's fun. Yeah, let's do that one. Eyes, let's give him gray eyes. You don't need makeup. Hair. I do like that haircut he's got on right now. Ooh, I do not like that one. Curly hair, that's kind of cute. Ooh, that is very curly hair.
Yeah, Brandon, I can't do that. They're too much fun. I'm not gonna do anything of the sort. You're on your own. If you really want to make another one because it's so much fun. Plus dark vision. Come on. I'm playing as a Dragonborn right now, and this not having dark vision is killing me.
Let's give him a little ponytail. That's cute. All right. Let's give him black hair. Some brown highlights. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, all of the points.
Okay.
Max out that charisma.
How many points can I put into Eldritch Blasphemous of all of them? Okay. All right, so that's our guardian, or the one we dream of. And we are now ready to venture forth. So let's go. Alright. Should be waking up in a moment here. And here we are on a mind flayer ship. And now we finally get to do a little walking around, exploring, interacting. Alright, so like she just said, this is where that little yucky wormy thing came from. The wormy thing, or parasite, is called a tadpole. And the tadpoles are basically the beginning of mind flayers. Alright, so we'll investigate the pool. Since we get a bonus to investigation. Oh, but we rolled absolutely horribly. Wow. That was terrible. So we aren't gonna know jack. Alright, we're gonna leave it alone. I don't want to reach in there and end up getting infected a second time.
Breathe deep and move.
So, as you've probably noticed, mind flayers are very, I guess I'd say visceral, very organic. The ship is like made of organic pieces. I mean, you saw when I went through that doorway, it said sphincter. It's just kind of gross when you think about it.
I saw that when I started playing. I was like, oh, okay, we're just going for it. Yep.
Yeah, we're just going for it. So, mind flayers, I guess you can almost... I almost want to relate them back to like the Borg in a way, because I know that obviously Borg are, you know, cybernetics mixed with organic, but this idea of like being very visceral, being very organic, being just, you know, kind of like fleshy, if that makes any sense. Like they are very much into the flesh. And very connected with it, because you probably saw during the cinematic that sometimes he would actually like use his hands to make motions as he was commanding the ship. Like he's using his body to command the ship, and when the ship had one of its tentacles ripped off, you could see him holding his arm in pain. So they are very much connected. All right, so we're gonna talk to this weird voice coming out here. Now, I know what this is because I played early access, but, you know, people who watch may not know. So this guy doesn't look like he's in great shape. Brain exposed. He's got a little bit of a Hannibal Lecter going on here. So the brain is talking to us. So we're gonna ask it, well, who am I talking to?
A newborn. Born new from this husk. You know no creature like this. One that is more brain than person.
So basically what we are talking to here, we're going to find out is called an intellect devourer. And it is kind of like, think of it like a baby mind flayer. Pretty much what it is. Alright. You sound afraid. Why?
So many enemies.
Okay. I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Alright, so since my character failed the arcane Arcana check, she doesn't actually recognize what this is. So, let's investigate here. Ooh, just barely made it. My rolls have been low so far.
You illuminates the shell of the skull.
Alright, so we'd really like to put this guy out of his misery. He really shouldn't be alive at this point. So, so we're going to do the dexterity choice because, we have +3 in dexterity. So we're gonna try to pull this brain from the skull as gently as we can and put this guy out of his misery. Yeah, and we're going to absolutely bash that 10. Okay. Hey, Tolderad. How's it going? Just in time for a very yucky extraction.
From the skull. But you notice an opportunity.
Still doing phrasing?
You could approach the strange creature, making it more subservient, should it prove a threat.
Alright. So since we're having that thought that, maybe we need to weaken this thing a little bit just in case, and it is a dexterity check, we're gonna try to disadvantage it. Oh man, did we fail miserably at that. Okay. So we're gonna attempt and fail. Well, there, it's starting to sprout the beginnings. Alright, and off it goes. Probably not too happy at me after trying to mutilate it, so... Alright, back down we go. Okay. Start to wander outside here. Lovely scenery, isn't it? Look at that out there. And we're about to have an entrance from one of the origin characters.
Abomination. This is your end.
Hi, Lysel.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes. Ugh. My head. What is this? Ugh. Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
Alright, so, for those who, maybe are confused about what the heck they're looking at right now, Lysel is a Gith Yankee, which is something that, we talked about a little bit during character creation, not too much. Gith Yankee, are interesting looking, race. They tend to be really good warriors. They tend to be toughies. Okay. Who are you?
I, your only chance of survival.
What made you think I was a thrall?
We mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
Yeah, so basically she's reconfirming what I said. The tadpoles that went in through the eyes all nasty like, those basically should turn you into a mind flayer. And that is actually how mind flayers reproduce. They do not reproduce like like us humans. They reproduce via the parasitic infections. All right. We are turning into mind flayers. There must be something we can do.
Until we escape. That must be our priority. First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane.
All right. gonna have our first combat encounter here. Okay, so I happen to be a huge fan of turn-based combat. I know it's not for everyone. Some people like to just rush and hack and slash, but I love turn-based combat. I love having, you know, the strategic element of it and thinking through what's the best move here. Should I attack? Should I use a support spell? Do I need to heal someone? Do I need to hold back? And something that you may have noticed there is it said initiative above the heads. So initiative is a system that basically determines the order in which players and enemies and NPCs are going to take their turns in combat. So in a D&D game, whenever you come into a situation in which there's combat, you're going to be told roll for initiative. Everyone rolls a d20, a 20-sided die, and what you roll is the is your initiative. Now, your character should have some kind of bonus to initiative, so you might have a +1, a +2, a +3, etc. That'll be added in, and then that will determine where you fall within the order. And you can see at the top of the screen here that this is the order in which we are going. So Lizelle and I are going to go at the same time. Baldur's Gate 3 does this a little bit differently from D&D. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Greg, but I believe Baldur's Gate 3 basically groups your characters together if they have the same initiatives. So that you could just choose which one you want to go first, essentially.
Basically, yeah. You just toggle between one or the other.
Yeah. So if they have the same initiatives, then you're just gonna choose one or the other. Bear with me 1 second. Seems to be a question. Okay. So again, initiative is determining where you fall within the turn order for combat. So Lizelle and I get to go first, and then these three imps will go. Greg, do you want to talk a bit about basically the combat system in the sense of like action and bonus actions?
Sure.
While I do this combat here.
Yep. So every turn is broken up into move, action, bonus actions, and reactions. Your move is obviously based on your movement speed. You can go however many feet or squares or whatever it is. If it's in this game, I think it's feet or meters.
Meters.
And then, meters in this game. In D&D, it's 5-foot squares. And then that's just how far you can go in your turn. Now you can dash and extend that. You can do other things from there, and there's all sorts of fun stuff that can be done to increase that. But then you have your actions. So those are your main things. That's attacking, that's throwing something, that's helping somebody up, that's putting out fires, that's whatever you're doing. It's okay, this is taking longer than just a quick second to do, so this is your full action for that turn. So then the following thing is, this is a quick thing that I'm doing that is just an aside, like I'm waving my hand, I'm doing like I'm crouching down or something. It's only going to take like a second or two, because every turn, if you think about it in terms of 6 seconds, which is basically from the full round of combat, is a minute. Every turn is about 6 seconds of game time. So you've got your move, and then your action and bonus action are basically 4 seconds and 2 seconds, give or take. So bonus action, quick. Action, that's your full thing, that's something more involved, and then your move. Now, I've had some DMs where they're, saying, nope, you have to use your action, then your bonus action, but honestly, I don't see any reason why you can't do bonus action, then action. or vice versa. I don't think it really matters. And in this game as well, you can do bonus action, then action. Doesn't matter what you take. It's just you do something quick, then you do your action, or you do your action, then do something else quick. It's all a matter of what you want to do. Sometimes you have stuff like if you're a rogue, you want to sneak first. It's a rogue action. It's a rogue bonus action to take cover or to hide. Then you can get sneak attack from if you're attacking from a hiding position. So it benefits you to hide first, then attack. So it's all action economy. You gotta figure out what best lines things up for your character.
Yeah, and thank you. That's a good summary of how combat works in this game, and that's what I like about it. It's very strategic. It's very much thinking it through before taking those actions. Now, I know there's a lot of fantasy games that do real-time with pause. That just makes me feel pressured. Honestly, I prefer to just have a turn-based, but it's not for everyone. All right, we're gonna go over here and address this woman in the pod here that's banging on the glass. Hi, Shadowheart.
We have no time for stragglers.
Hold your horses there, Lizo.
The construction is too alien. Nothing looks familiar.
This ship is crashing. Do you intend to die for a stranger?
You're a stranger, Lizel. Shut up. Okay. We'll look around.
Contraption next to the pod. They did something to it when they sealed me in. Hurry, please.
Alright, so we'll check out this contraption next to her.
The console appears dormant. The mechanisms are completely unrecognizable at first. Then you spy an empty socket.
So again, I've played early access quite a bit actually, so I will know a lot of the things going on here, but I'm still letting them play through so that if people are watching this and haven't played early access, they can see what's going on.
Nothing. The console remains dormant.
Alright, so let's look around and see if we can find a way to get that console to
Thing.
get it going. Alright, I think it's through this doorway. Is it? No, this is the wrong doorway. Oh, whoops, got in a fight. Oh wait, no, this is the right doorway. Okay, I have disadvantage right now because you are way too close to me. Can I just jump over you? I think I can.
It's one of the most horrifying things in D&D. It's like, you are far too close to me, and there is nothing I can do about it.
So jumping is part of movement speed, which we were talking about before. And me firing my bow here is my action. Okay, so I still have movement speed, so I could move closer or further back if I wanted to. I think I'm actually just going to scooch to the side a little bit here and then stay put, and then I'm going to end my turn. So in this game, you do have to actually click end turn before it'll let you progress. And you'll also see in this combat encounter, Lizel and I are not next to each other because we did not roll the same. So now it is Lizel's turn. Here, but there's an intellect devourer between us. Okay, she killed that one. And her turn. Yeah. Now you're upset with me. I guess we can just shoot it with disadvantage. There we go. Alright. Let's see if they've got anything on them. Oh, there's a key. That could be important. Okay, let's see what's going on here.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
There's another mind flare pod here.
Dazed woman is trapped inside the pod. She doesn't notice you.
There's somebody stuck in there. Let's see if we can read this sigil. No. No, we cannot. So I could potentially push this button and see what happens. Let's see. And place my hand on the console.
As you place your connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
Ew, that doesn't sound good. Oops. Well, now you get to partially see what changing into a mind flayer does. Sorry about that. Was probably gonna happen either way.
Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
Lizelle is right about that. We gotta be careful.
Our fate. Another brain.
Just gonna grab some stuff.
Trolls next to the
Can't touch that one. I'm sorry you turned into a mind flayer. Not letting you out now, though. Alright. Okay. Come back in here. And we do have a chest here that is locked, so let's see if the key opens it. It does. Let's grab the stuff from it. And we've got something here that looks like, maybe it could fit in a socket. Well, let's try it.
The console appears dormant.
Insert the rune.
The console hums to life. But what is its purpose? Will it free the captive or transform her like that other unfortunate?
Well, we can do an Arcana check and see if that will reveal anything. So far, our Arcana checks have all been failed. Oh, look at that! Nat 20. Go figure.
The glow and organic lights
Right.
of the device make it seem more like a beating heart than a machine. This device is different from the one that caused the other captive to transform. Perhaps it will open the nearby pod.
Alright, so this one looks different. Oh, excuse me. Let's try to open it.
Suddenly, you feel a hideous squirming in your head. The parasite.
Stop that.
Discomfort
Stop that, parasite.
and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Ew. I wonder if we can ignore the sensation and still get it to open. Well, doesn't look like that worked. Alright, I'm gonna have to see if I can interact with it again.
The console hums steadily, awaiting command.
Yeah, it looks like the only way we're gonna be able to get this thing to work is to
Suddenly,
lean into that sensation.
squirming in your head. The parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Alright, we're gonna have to go for it. We're gonna have to use the lifted wisdom.
You feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
There it goes. Popped open now.
At last. Thought I was done for.
Alright, so let's talk to our newcomer here.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness because you have a gift with you.
You keep dangerous company.
Got a problem with Githyanki?
More that Gith have a problem with everyone else. But there's more important matters right now. Survival. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
Did you feel what I felt just before we were in each other's heads?
I did. That'll have to wait. Are we going to help each other or not?
Yeah, let's get going.
Shadowheart. One moment.
She grabbed something from her pod. What's that?
It's nothing. Trust me.
Enough of this chatter. We need to get to the helm. Now.
She's right.
Alright, bossy.
Lead on.
Okay. So we've rescued Shadowheart. We got a bunch of people hanging... Well, not a bunch of people. There's 2 people hanging around this area here who look like they're in a daze. Let's see if we can read any inscriptions on here.
Another mystery. Aggression.
That one says aggression. So all we know is that the middle one is aggression. So don't touch that one. Let's go for the right one. Well, that put them out of their misery, so... Better they be dead than become mind flayers. Alright. Now that we've put them out, I consider that mercy kills. Let's head this way. Oops, this way, sorry.
We're nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
King Yank.
Ugh. They're already not getting along. Guys, you're gonna have to be together much longer than this, so... chill your biscuits.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Alright, so back into battle we go. And while this Mind Flayer takes on this very beefy demon. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go for you because I got a 95% chance. There we go. Let me just move over to the side a bit. Okay, Shadowheart. Yeah, let's see if you can go finish off the imp. There we go. Put you there. Ooh. So I think this is, combat is one of the areas where slightly higher than wood. Combat is one of those areas where there's like a lot kind of going on in the background, I think I would say. Because there are roles going on in the background. I think we mentioned that earlier on in the stream, that although you see some of the roles that you have to do throughout the game, like skill and ability checks and stuff, you don't see all of the roles that are happening. And combat is one of those areas where you're not really seeing it, that there are roles going on in the background. So, Greg, if this was a D&D, campaign, if there was a true dungeon master behind the screen, so to speak, you would be in charge of the enemies here. So can you talk a little bit about, like, what is going on behind that dungeon master screen during a combat encounter?
No, that's all privileged information. I can't discuss my secrets. No. So what's going on behind the screen is basically I have a list of all the things that all the characters behind that I'm facing off against the adventuring party with. I have all of that stuff behind the screen. I'm looking at, you know, what their moves are, what their weapons that they're carrying, if they have any spells, you know, what items they have on them for if they die, or if the adventurers try to pickpocket them, or whatever is going to go on. Like, all that stuff I have behind there. Like I have like what their armor classes are. I have what weapons and everything, the armor they're using, just everything you can think of that you may have to interact with. I have to monitor,
Hey, Mimi.
and sometimes I don't have something and I make it up on the fly because it's something that I either didn't think of, or maybe my players surprised me and I'm just like, huh, that's a really good idea, or that's a brilliant way to solve this problem. I did not think of that as a possibility. However, again, like I was saying before, like I like to reward ingenuity and stuff like that and creativity for my players. So yeah, you're still going to have to roll for it potentially, unless you have something that says I just do this. And then based on those outcomes, I compare it to everything that is on all the sheets and everything behind the screen, and then I let you know if it succeeds or fails. So it's just all of the background information that you could possibly want, really. I mean, now with, you know, especially after COVID and whatnot, you know, everything's more virtual, so I have just lots of files with a whole bunch of different notes, and I have maps and everything ready to go, just to be able to say, okay, well, yep, that's where you're going to go. Okay, I've got a map for that. I can put that down, and then everybody's there on the map. But yeah, that's pretty much everything.
What about the dice rolls that go into the enemies? Because you, as the DM, have to control the enemies.
Yes. So basically, when you're looking at your character sheet, to see what it is you can and can't do, or what your bonuses are, I have all of that stuff for the characters. I have like a little mini version of it that has just their primary stats, and a couple of other things that I might need, like their AC or their spell save DC, their hit points, and then whatever spell slots or spells that they've had prepared, or the armor and weapons and stuff like that. So that way, when I decide, okay, well, they're going to attack you based on this reason, I'm going to roll my dice and see if, you know, my attack hits, and I'm going to, you know, ask the player, like, oh, if it's just like a simple melee attack or some sort of attack spell, I'm going to say, you know, what's your DC, or I can just have I have a list as well of the players' information behind the screen, so I know if it hits or not. But I usually like to just double check and be like, hey, what's your AC right now, just in case, you know, something may have changed, or I want to give them the opportunity to say, oh wait, no, I cast shield as a reaction, so it doesn't do anything.
Right.
Stuff like that.
So there's a little peek behind the DM screen for you, just to help you understand. Like, basically, think of the game as the DM in this case. You know, the game is controlling the NPCs, the enemies, the dice rolls that are going on in the background, and that's a DM's job. So the game equals the DM.
Pretty much.
All right, we're making progress on this guy. He's tough to take down because he's a beefy boy. But he has a really cool weapon, which is why I'm actually bothering to try to take him down, because you technically don't. In this fight here, you do not have to help here. You can keep going towards the front of the ship. But I really would like to have that weapon if I can.
Took me 2 tries, but I did get it this playthrough.
Ah, nice. Mimi, I know you've joined a little bit on the later side. If you have any questions, I'm sure you've heard them, but Greg, my DM, is on the call with me. So if you have questions about the ability point system, the skills, the racial features, the different classes, anything like that. I know you were talking about the character creation earlier. If you have questions about any of that, now is the best time to do it, because we've got a dungeon master here to address those questions. So feel free to put any and all questions in the chat as I try to beat up this freaking demon.
All my attacks on my first try they were just whiffing so bad.
Uh-oh.
Every single one of them.
The rest of the demons have been summoned. If
I showed up way quicker than early access.
Yeah, if I don't kill him soon, then I'm out of options. Oh, that was a critical. Wasn't a lot of damage, but it was a critical.
Every crit counts.
Yes, I'm gonna just scooch. Oh, I scooched a little too far.
Hurry before they strike.
Oh, okay, I'm still good. I'm gonna not scooch any further than that. Okay, I really gotta take this guy down. Come on. We can do it! How are you doing? Ooh, you're not doing so hot. Is there anything else I can do here? Not really. So as a noob, which are the best races I should use? Okay, good question. So, Greg, what races are user friendly for people who are diving into D&D like games for the first time?
Go with what you are drawn to first. So for me, when I started playing, and even still, like, Dragonborn were my favorite. I started as Dragonborn player. It was awesome. Do something that's going to engage you as a player. If you don't do that, you're just doing something and you're not going to really feel any sort of attachment to your character. So do something that intrigues you. If it's an ability, if it's, you know, something about that race that you really like, if it's just for in D&D, you're limited by what stats, what ability points and everything are attributed to specific stats. In Baldur's Gate 3, not so much. So that side of things doesn't really matter in this particular game. However, in D&D, it does matter. So if you want to be a wizard, you want to do something that has an increase to intelligence. If you want to be a sorcerer or a warlock, you want to do something that has an increase to charisma. You want to pay attention to what their primary abilities are, or what are needed for their primary abilities if you're going to be a spellcaster or something along those lines. But otherwise, Mimi, it doesn't really matter. It's all subjective. I mentioned before that it's really based on what interests you the most. In my opinion, as a DM, there's no superior or inferior race, or better for beginners or worse for beginners. It's what are you going to be interested in? What is going to make you want to put in either the work for it, or what do you like? If you don't want to deal with a whole bunch of extra things, be a human. If you want to do extra stuff, then you can look at all the other races and just see what sounds better. And just speaking as playing as Dragonborn, never underestimate races that have dark vision inherently, because that is kicking my butt. Everything is dark all of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, go with what you like.
So I guess my question in return to you, Mimi, would be, were there any races that kind of stood out to you? Like, oh, this looks really cool. This sounds really cool. I'm interested in that. And then if there is anything like that, well, we can, address questions more specialized to what you're interested in. Yeah, I keep getting attacks of opportunity there. I'm just trying to make it to the transponder because 2 of my party members died, so my only option is to get there. Yeah, no problem, Mimi. That probably makes the most sense. Pull it up and actually get to look through like the races, the classes and stuff, and then you can just ask the questions as you're looking through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, we're almost off this ship. Starting to look pretty beaten down there. Didn't get the sword, but I made it out alive, so, you know. You choose your battles. Literally. Yes, dear, you make your handsome tiefling warlock. And down we go.
So handsome.
Ouch. Plonked right on the side of the head. Alright, so here we are, crash landed. And this is where things start to get really fun. So everything that we've seen so far, you can consider the introduction to the game.
Squirms in your skull.
And check myself for injuries.
The infection, you're more or less intact. A miracle, given everything you've been through. But it'll all be for nothing if you don't find help soon. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
Alright, so Greg, Mimi is stuck between an elf and a drow, which I think are both excellent choices. But well, because drow are a type of elf. They're dark elves, essentially. There's definitely, you know, differences between them. One of the biggest differences being that drow are specifically from a place called the Underdark, which is a place that will be explored in this game. But Greg, do you want to go into a little bit of, you know, what would draw you towards an elf versus a drow and vice versa? I know it doesn't matter as much in Baldur's Gate 3, but...
No, but for the elves and...
Come back to her.
Did you say high elf or?
Just elf and drow. Elf and drow. So,
Okay.
but you can talk a little bit about the options, right? Because there are sub races. So
Yes.
let's explore that a little bit.
So with the high elf, you get an extra cantrip right off the bat for free. The spell casting ability for it is intelligence. So like you were doing earlier, you want to make sure that if it's an attack spell, you want to make sure you put a little bit into intelligence, so that way you're not at a disadvantage. But otherwise, it wouldn't really matter if it's just like a utility kind of spell. That's fine.
Greg, hold on. Let's press pause there because Mimi wasn't here earlier. So a cantrip is a type of spell that you can that basically you know really, really well, so you can keep casting it over and over and over again. Just to clarify, because I know you're going to see spells and you're going to see cantrips. So cantrips, it's almost second nature to you. You can cast it. Whereas spells require something called spell slots. and you will have to take rests in the game. There are short rests and long rests. We can go into that a bit later to regain those spell slots. Okay, go ahead,
Yep.
Greg.
Nope, that's fine. So cantrips are nice. It's always nice to have a super huge library of cantrips, because usually you only get anywhere from like 4-ish max. Obviously, there's ways to increase that later on through extra stuff, but to start with, you typically only get 4 through normal level ups. But yeah, so high elves get that. They get a couple of extra things. I think they get some other skill proficiencies, so they can use a lot more different types of weapons. Wood elves, they can get like short bows and some other weapon proficiencies. They also get an increase to movement speed, and they can hide a little bit better. So they're a little bit more sneaky, whereas the high elf are generally deemed as more learned sort of thing. So if you're looking at something like that, that's how you can kind of sort those out a little. And then
the drow.
Yeah, for the drow, they get a couple of extra things as they level up and as they get stronger. So when they get to certain levels, they get a spell called Fairy Fire, just inherently. And then they can also cast Darkness and Levitate. That's very common for drow, because in that realm where they're from, in the Underdark, there's canyons, there's caverns, and all this other stuff. Then they have drow innate magic within them, and that manifested in a way where they can just levitate, and they can cast what's called Fairy Fire, which outlines their target, so it makes them easier to hit. Where in Underdark, it's really hard to see things, or things go invisible. So that's really beneficial. Or they have things that they can cast Darkness and completely just blot out all light, and you can't see through it. Because a lot of things in the Underdark use dark vision, so they see all that stuff regardless. However, they can't see through magical darkness, so that's really beneficial for them. So if they're trying to prevent other drow from attacking them or something else with dark vision, that way that's how they can block that. So it's more, and then they get some more skills and everything as well with what weapons they can use. Most of them use like bladed weapons or bows, and then for each of the elves, like they're more or less the same regarding weapon choices, but it can if you click between them, you can see like the difference on what Baldur's Gate has. But the most intriguing thing with all of them is not necessarily a stat block. It's because of the that's what I was just about to say, Brandon, is the social implications of picking that class, or picking that race. Because drow are generally seen as evil, where I mean, you have obviously outliers in every single race. It's all choice. No, it's all good. I was trying to think of the word and I couldn't. I was having a brain fart. But no, like it's all for those. The public is going to, if you choose drow, public is going to view you as, yeah, I don't necessarily trust you. I'm also, and they may at some point, as soon as they see you, they may just attack you, just straight up without even talking to you, because you are a drow. Who knows? Now there are things you can do to improve that. Perhaps your reputation as doing good acts as a drow will make it seem like, oh, you're so and so. I've heard about you. You're a nice person. That helps you in those cases. High elves, wood elves don't necessarily have to deal with that, because they're far more common on the surface world. If you are doing a lot of things in the Underdark, or you're going to stay down there for a while in the game, drow might come in handy in that social interaction, because maybe you come across another drow and they talk with you far easier than they would be talking to a high elf. So you never know. Super awesome for going an evil run.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, hands down. Yeah. Hands down, that would be awesome.
You can play a drow and do a good run though. And there's actually
either way.
there's two subclasses of drow, and you'll notice from the descriptions that the Lolf drows are generally the ones that are evil, and then this oh my god, Celodrin?
Saloon.
Saloon.
I think it's Salooni or Saloon.
Saloon drows are generally good. They basically broke away from the path of the Lolf drows, and they do not get along with the Lolf drows. And Lolf is the would you call her a goddess? Is she considered a goddess?
Yes.
Yeah,
she's a goddess.
So Lolf is generally the goddess of the drow. She
Spider.
is a spider queen, so kind of creepy, but yeah. All right.
Super creepy.
Thank you for that explanation, Greg. Appreciate it. And Mimi, if you have more questions about that, feel free. Uh-oh. Sorry, I just paused because Shadowheart's dead. You're not
What did you
supposed to.
do?
She's not supposed. I thought if I escaped the Nautiloid with
Did she
her
die
down.
on the Nautiloid?
Yeah, but I thought she was supposed to
You gotta
revive.
revive her.
Oh my goodness. All right, hold
Nope.
on, guys. So maybe if you have more questions about that, feel free to ask. I need to revive Shadowheart because she's supposed to be alive. So, oh man, I hope that doesn't mean
Come on,
Liz.
Shadowheart.
Does that mean I'm gonna find Lizelle dead too? Then, ugh. I only have one scroll of Revivify.
They should have some.
I'm alive.
All right.
Did you save me?
Yeah, I did. Dang it, Shadowheart! I thought you were gonna revive once I did the thing. Okay.
Thank you. Maybe I should come with you. Return the favor by watching your back.
Ooh, she looks rough too.
After all,
She's
Well, she
got
did just get
bruising
revived.
all over her.
before it's too late.
Damn, you're looking rough, girl. All right,
Got the
come
crap
on.
beat out of her.
Yeah, she certainly did. Sorry, Shadowheart. I honestly thought you were gonna automatically revive. The reason I thought that, Greg, is because I actually on my private playthrough, I died, and I had to have Shadowheart go to the front of the Nautiloid. And then I revived when she did it. So I was like, oh, okay, whoever dies, it's fine. They're going to revive. Apparently, that's only for you, the character, the player character, not for the others. So I might have to revive Lizelle as well. She might just be dead in a cage somewhere.
It sucks.
Oh, shit. I got to heal you, too. Hold on. Let's not get in a fight yet. Damn.
Did you level? Or not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We got to...
Time to get going.
Oh, man. Short rest is only 5 hit points, huh? I'm going to have to use both of them.
Welcome, rest.
Okay. Now let's get in a fight. Oh, where'd they go? There they are. Okay, so that was a little bit of a rough start, but that's okay. The nice thing about D&D is that just because you're dead doesn't mean you're gonna stay dead. It can be a pain in the butt to get someone revived, but you can do it. Okay. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I'm at a disadvantage right now, but... There we go. Maybe I can push you away. Let's see if a shove works. Nope, I failed. Hopefully I do not die in this encounter. Oh, and she doesn't have her spell slots, so she can't heal me. That's not ideal. Woo! Let's see if we can... Actually, can we go... Oh, we're gonna step in fire if we do that. Damn. Damn! I am not having luck. Everything's failing! I'm gonna die! Oh, I just went down. What happens if I die and Shadowheart dies? Is that gonna make me restart?
I think so, yeah.
Goodness gracious, guys, get out of my face. Get out of here. Oh man, no, I can't even move because they'll get an opportunity strike. I guess now is a good time to go over opportunity strikes. Yep, it's gonna make me load. Damn.
This is an excellent opportunity to go over.
Yeah, because I gotta go. Woo! This usually does not happen this early. This is an anomaly. I just want to make that clear. Yeah, go over that, and then Mimi's got a question.
Yeah, so Mimi, in this, I'm not sure if there's going to be very much distinction between the two, like lore-wise. However, generally in D&D, it was you have the chromatic dragons, which were generally viewed as evil, and then you have the metallic dragons, which were generally viewed as good. The copper was good, the black is evil, because that's chromatic. So you have the black, white, green, red, and blue. Those were your chromatic dragons. And then for the good dragons, you had gold, silver, copper, bronze, and I don't know. There was one other. I'm blanking on it. This is terrible. But there was another one.
Fresh water.
So those were all viewed as good. And then their abilities were generally the extra spells that you get are pretty much based off of their what's the word I'm looking for? It was based off of their kind of personality, like the overall tone of that type of dragon kind of thing. So while yes, copper and black both do acid damage, black is the evil, copper is the good, and so their extra spells that you get by choosing that when you select sorcerer as dragon blood for the ancestor is based off of those. So for instance, a green dragonborn will give you it's a poison spell. It's necromancy, it's a poison spell, but there's not too much difference. So I don't know in game if it's going to matter that much. There might have some social interactions, whether or not you are a good aligned dragon versus an evil aligned dragon. I'm currently playing as a black dragonborn druid warlock sorcerer, and my dragon blood sorcerer is green dragon ancestry. So who knows? I haven't come across anything just yet, but yeah, it could very well happen once I get to the main city.
All right, excellent. Thank you. And if you want to explain attacks of opportunity.
Sure. So for attacks of opportunity, that's anything. So you trigger an attack of opportunity when you, a combatant, are leaving another combatant's melee range. So typically all actions or all melee ranges are within 5 feet. You can have some pole arms or some feats that extend that reach out. However, once you leave and start to move away from that person, they will trigger an attack of opportunity, meaning you are trying to get away, and so while you're trying to get away, they are taking advantage of that opening in your defense and taking a swipe at you.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Mimi is very excited.
That's well, you should be. Dragonborn are awesome. I hope I answered your question, Mimi.
Yeah, and if you
I get kind of long-winded.
if you need any clarification on any of that, Mimi, just let us know. And you know, once you get to the class section, if you have questions, also let us know, because I always feel like classes are the most overwhelming for me, but I don't know, maybe that's not me. Got 10 minutes before I head for work. Hey, Night Owl. Glad you could pop
Nice.
by. I know this game is just, it's just a very special game. I absolutely
Oh,
agree. Got to play a bit
fantastic.
over an hour. Well, good for you. Did you get some sleep too? Hopefully. Hopefully you've got some time off this weekend so you can very little. Oh. Do you have some time off this weekend so you can play more?
My faith will protect me. Have to keep going.
You were excited. I know. When I
I
started
don't
up,
blame you.
when I started up the game, I was like, ah, it's finally here. Saturday and Sunday? Okay, awesome. So you're gonna have some time to dig in, veg out, and just dive into this masterpiece. That's great. I know I am going to be streaming all weekend. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm going whole hog. And when I'm not streaming, I will be playing my own private games. So I'm just going to be playing like all
Same
weekend.
here.
So, yeah, that's like all I'm gonna be doing pretty much. I mean, that's not entirely true. I gotta take care of the dogs and stuff, but you know, listen to these at night at work. Yeah, yeah, it's nice when you have a job where you can listen to stuff at the same time, because I have been just like absolutely consuming like just so much Baldur's Gate information this week. In anticipation for this release, and there's just so many great videos out there on it and guides and stuff already. Third shift, you're your own boss. Yeah, there's got to be some benefits, right, to the wonky hours. Wolfheart FPS is my favorite YouTuber for Baldur's Gate 3 news and guides and stuff. Definitely recommend checking out his channel if you're not already familiar with it. Really? Disadvantage for that too, huh? Well, then I might as well just hit the one in front of me. Get out of here. There we go. Just try to reposition myself a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's much better. So as long as work gets done, I am okay with it. Nobody will work it. Yeah, I mean, look, I can't blame them. Like, third shift would kill me. I haven't been a night owl myself since, like, high school days, so I just can't do it. I get too tired. Oftentimes I'm tired by, like, 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes when I'm having, like, an exciting day, I get tired like more around like midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, like the latest, and then I just start like falling asleep at whatever the heck I'm doing. Get up there. Can't. Alright, I gotta go up this way. There we go. Oh, click on the thing. There we go. A wizard's bane oil. Okay. Coat your weapon in oil. Ooh. It'd be fun with some of a fire spell. Okay, I chose a Drow Wolfsworn sorcerer with a draconic bloodline subclass. Whoa, we are really going for it.
I'm such a fan of this.
Well
This
done,
is fantastic.
well done, Mimi. That is quite the choice.
What ancestor did you choose? I'm just curious.
What ancestry did you choose, Mimi? You're pushing 50. It's not as easy. I mean, damn, man, working third shift at 50, like. Good on you. Like, just more power to you at that point. Like,
right?
that's awesome that you can do that. The trick is I sleep the same even when I am off. I only deviate. Yeah, that's important, right? Like, if you try to like manipulate the schedule when you're not working that shift and then you try to go back to it, like that will make it even rougher. You went with Monk Gith Yankee. That's a really interesting choice. Amonkhet Yankee. I like it. Black.
Nice.
Black for
Solid
Draconic.
choice.
Yeah.
So later on, like I think it's like 6th level or something, you get resistance to acid damage.
Nice. So Mimi's really leaning into that evil playthrough.
Totally a fan.
Leaning in heavily.
If you could do it, more power to you. I keep on trying to do evil playthroughs, and then I get like an hour in, and I'm like, I can't do this. Everybody hates me.
I'm gonna admit I am not good at evil playthroughs because I'm too like I have a very high empathy factor. So it like is actually difficult for me to role play as someone evil. Like it like actually bothers me even though it's totally fake. So it I don't generally do it. I may try to do it for one of my later playthroughs, but I'm probably gonna fail. We're about to meet my favorite character.
Brain things cornered.
Hi, Astaria.
There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
He's my crush. Don't judge me. I have a thing for elves, and I was gonna say the other part, but that might be a spoiler? I don't know. I think most people know what he is at this point, but maybe not everyone, so I'm gonna like zip the lip there just in case. Was going to use halfling, but my curiosity with dialogue got me. But it hasn't been much different. My wife would say I'm a goody two-shoes. So evil is very hard to play. You're crushing on Shadow? So many people are crushing on Shadowheart, and it's like, I get it. She's really cute. She just kind of rubs me the wrong way. She's got a bit of an attitude on her. And I know Astarion does too, which like it kind of doesn't make sense that Shadowheart rubs me the wrong way, but I like Astarion because they definitely have some things in common there. My voice got all cutesy. I can't help it. Yeah, Shadowheart is a bit of a snob, but again, so is Astarion. So it's like, why does it work for Astarion? Honestly, I think it's the accent. I think his accent is the reason that the arrogance and the snobbiness works. Like that British accent, I'm a sucker for it. It just works so much better with the British accent. Yeah. All right. We're charmed by him, so we're gonna say, yeah, stand back, I got it. Or like, he's cute, we're gonna help him out. My eyes are my weakness. Yeah, I gotcha. Eyes are the mirrors to the soul, right?
You're relieved until you see the flash of a dagger.
No, Astarion, don't do it. We're friends. Okay, put it away. We don't need to fight.
I saw you in the ship. Free, scuttling about. You're in league with them, aren't you? Those tentacle... Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
The Mind Flayer worm. It's connected us.
Of course. That explains things somewhat. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
You tried to pick a fight with him. I'm a sucker for an elf, so you're not by yourself. Okay, I'm glad that there's someone else here who understands the appeal of elves. Like, they're just sexy, okay? Well, okay, depending on the type of lore, because there are different kinds of elves, and some of them are like small and green and kind of look more like gnomes, and like that's not really sexy in my mind. But the Lord of the Rings elves, which is, you know, basically what we're seeing here is just another version of Lord of the Ring elves. They're hot. they're just hot. Okay. So we can either accept the apology. Glad to see we're all caught up. I have more to offer than apologies. I'm just gonna say glad to see we're all caught up. I don't think I'm gonna accept your apology, even though you're cute, but I'm not gonna turn you down.
Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldurs Gate when those beasts snatched me.
All right. I will introduce myself as well.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles.
Yeah, I know. You're an arrogant little bastard.
Do you know anything about these worms?
They're gonna turn us into mind flayers.
Turn us into...
Alright, thanks for stopping in, Night Owl.
into a monster.
Have a good rest of your night.
What else did I expect?
Survive the work night.
Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
We need to get rid of it, not really just control it.
Well, yes, of course. But first things first.
Well, okay then. Come along
You know,
with me.
I was ready to go this alone, but maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know.
You have no idea.
Have a good one, Naito.
I accept. Lead on.
Alright, so now we've got my favorite origin character in the group with us. And he is a rogue. Just so you know what class he's playing as. And basically what I like to do at the beginning of the game is go around gathering all of the origin characters before I do too much else. Wow, it got really dark in here, and I forgot I don't have dark vision. So I'm like, wow, why is it so dark? Oh yeah, I don't have dark vision. Alright, so I think it's this way.
Footprints.
Here we go.
There may be
This is where the portal is.
What's going on with that room? Worth checking for supplies.
Alright, let's check out this sigil circle here that looks like it's going crazy.
on the stone.
Oh no.
Glitters
What?
and swirls from it erratically.
I don't want to say anything in case of spoilers, but
It looks
oof,
slightly dangerous.
It's fine.
I just met Will, and
Oh, oh, okay.
I'm not too pleased with his backstory at the moment. Let's just say.
It will all be okay.
A hand? Anyone?
He's asking for a hand with his hand. We could slap
Yeah,
it.
basically.
just
just slap it.
Just give him a little slap.
That was my first warlock option, actually.
Oh yeah, slap the hand.
Yeah. No, I was able to like use my patron's powers to calm the vortex.
Oh yeah, I was able to do that as a druid. I can use
Yeah.
strength to try to pull him through. Let's see if I can do that. Difficulty class 7. We have +1. We can add a bonus to that. Shadowheart can help us out. I guess we didn't need help. Alright, come on you. Let's get you out of that portal.
That's it. Go on. Keep pulling.
Do all elves not have dark vision?
Hello. I'm gay.
We'll get to that in a second.
Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
I think all elves have dark vision.
But I am
Or
an...
do high elves.
No, I'm
Do you
a
have dark
high elf
vision?
and I don't have dark vision.
I feel like, really?
Yeah.
The high elves and the wood elves, do they have dark vision? I thought they did.
Like I said, I'm high elf and I could not see in the dark.
Weird.
Unless there was something else going on there besides regular darkness. But I don't remember seeing dark vision. You know what? I'll check after this interaction here. I'll double check. Okay. No need to apologize, or you are right.
But friend, it's a relief and a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the North Lloyd as well.
Yes. Yes, I was.
And I can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
Couldn't have phrased that more repellently myself.
No sugarcoating it, is there? The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers? It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided. You don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
You seem to know enough about our condition to realize it's beyond most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt, but I find myself hoping to be in the presence of the few. You don't happen to be one of them.
As a ranger, I can tend to basic wounds and ailments, but that's about it.
As we've established, few enough can. It's not exactly a common affliction. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Yeah. Come along, buddy.
A parasite shared is a parasite halved, or something to that effect.
Something like that.
But before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
Alright. Well, we now have Gale in our party, who is a wizard. Oh, and it's level up time, too. So, okay. I'll level up in a second. Let me first check about the dark sight thing. Was it C for character sheet? Nope, that's Smeek.
No, N.
N for character sheet. Thank you. No, that's not working.
It's not working for you?
No.
You can go to I.
I.
You can press I.
And then go to...
And bring up the inventory and then just like click on your character. They also have it, yeah, they have the level up there too. I don't know why, but it wasn't, like, I tried to change it to C and it wasn't working, and then its default is N. The level up is in the center screen. But the,
Oh, wait, I do have dark vision. Yeah. So why couldn't I see in that? Was that maybe some kind of magical smoke then? Because it was really dark for me.
Well, you won't be able to see through smoke.
Oh, okay, so that must be what it was.
Yeah, if there's just no light, you can see through light. Okay,
so getting back to Brandon's question then, all elves are supposed to have dark vision then? All of them?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, that's our understanding. All elves are supposed to have dark vision. Okay, so level up time. We'll start with my character. Alright, so my health increased, I got another spell slot, and I gained 2 spells, or I have to choose 2 spells. Okay, so we've got Animal Friendship, Cure Wounds, Ensnaring Strike, Fog Cloud, Goodberry, Hail of Thorns, Hunter's Mark, Enhanced Leap, Long Strider, Speak with Animals. Now, no little brain friend for me.
Speak with Animals?
Yes, I'm absolutely going to pick Speak with Animals, which it's just self-explanatory by the name. You can speak with animals by using the spell. I am going for a, animal-friendly build here. So yes, we're going to do Speak with Animals. The other one, I am going to choose Ensnaring Strike because of my pick earlier for the, what was it called? Featured enemy. I can't remember exactly what they called it now. But I chose the one where it gives you advantage with Ensnaring Strike. So I'm going to choose that as my other one because of that earlier choice. And then I need to choose a fighting style. Adopt a particular style of fighting as your specialty. I'm going to stick with archery. Obviously, rangers are, adept at that to begin with. and I'm not really interested in kind of branching off to do like 2-weapon fighting or something. So I'm gonna stick with archery. That is my preferred method. Okay, so that's my character's level up, and now we gotta level up the rest of them. Oop, and I see that the stream health is getting a little icky there. So hopefully we do not run into issues. It doesn't seem to like me going into the level up screens. Okay, next up we have Shadowheart. So health increase, she unlocked a spell slot and a channel divinity charge. What is that? You gain the ability to channel divine energy starting with 2 effects, turn undead, and an effect determined by your domain. Okay. So she's got turn undead, and now she has something called invoke duplicity, which is distracting your enemies with an illusion. Within 3 meters of the illusion, attack rolls have advantage for you and your allies, so that's pretty cool. So that's her level up. We don't have to decide anything there, it's just the things that are automatically happening. For Astarion, it should just be automatic as well for this level up. His health increased. He has access to hide, dash, and disengage for his actions, so that's it for him. And then for Gale... Okay. For Gale, health has increased. He's unlocked a spell slot. His subclass features are... so he has a subclass now. The subclasses get unlocked at different levels, but for him at level 2 he has unlocked his subclass, which defaults to evocation, but you can choose a different subclass here if desired. Now I kind of want to stick to what the game is automatically choosing for the origin characters, just to kind of stay true to their backstories, personalities, and such. But you can absolutely change this if you want to. And evocation, as it says here, is focused on elemental energies, so thinking fire attacks, frost attacks, things like that, which is actually kind of what I want him to do anyway. Okay, so for him we need to choose 2 new spells. So we've got quite a few to choose from here, so I'm not gonna go through them all. Let's see. So one spell that I really like to have handy is Magic Missile. So I'm going to choose that one, and Greg, I'll ask you to talk about that in a little bit here. And then the other one, I'm using fire, so I don't need you to use fire. Feather Fall is actually really handy too, so let's choose that. Look at our prepared spells. Okay, while I look at the prepared spells, why don't you talk about why Magic Missile is so handy?
Magic Missile is so handy because it, instead of needing a attack roll or a saving throw, it just hits. So if you're looking for a damage dealing spell and you're in a combat situation and you're down to like 1 HP and it's that thing's turn next and he only has a couple HP left as well, you really need to make sure that your 1 spell slot remaining hits. Magic Missile will always hit. So it is incredibly useful. It is 3 missiles that each do a D4 plus. That each do a D4 damage, and then it's usually plus, I think, +2, I think, or something, or +4. I can't remember. But
I can
short,
double check.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, and I'm in a cutscene myself. Otherwise, I'd look it up.
+3.
+3, okay. And then you can cast at higher levels and increase the number of missiles that you're casting. And the other really cool thing about this one is that it can go to multiple targets. A lot of spells only target one or target an area. This, you can actually pick and choose your targets, and not only will it automatically hit, but they can be at opposite ends of the battlefield. So it really doesn't matter. It is probably the wizards and sorcerers' bread and butter, basically. It is a very, very good first level spell that improves as it gets cast at higher levels. So like you can never go wrong with choosing that as a spell.
Yeah, that's a pretty good explanation as to why I like picking up Magic Missile if I've got a spellcaster available to me. Hey, Lysel's actually alive. Okay, so let me call BS here for a moment, because when I landed, Shadowheart was dead, and that was apparently because she died on the Nautiloid. Lysel died too. I'm looking at her right now. She's at full health. So
She's at full health?
yeah, so I'm calling BS on you for that, Larian. You made me waste my scroll of Revivify. Alright. I'm gonna interact here.
Yellow as a toad and twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
I'll get to your question in just a moment. Mimi just gonna finish up this interaction. Rather demanding. Don't worry, I'll get them out of here. Or I can just go straight to what I'm trying to do here. So,
Mimi, I'm not sure if it matters a whole lot, because from what I can tell, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong as well, because you've played more into the game than I have, Beth.
sure.
But from what I can tell, it's purely a cosmetic choice. For like if you're talking about what to do for their design or anything.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree. It really is cosmetic. Basically, think of the Guardian as like, what would your ultimate partner look like? And design them that way. But yeah, it's not going to change the way that the game behaves or that the Guardian behaves with you. To the best of my knowledge, unless they change something from early access, but I do not think that this is anything other than just preference for aesthetics, and that's it. Alright, so I'm gonna see if maybe I can deceive them into taking off here and just letting me handle it. I'm gonna have Shadowheart help me out here, because I'd rather not get in a fight with them if I don't have to. Okay, we're well above the difficulty class here of 10. And let me
one of the best cantrips ever.
yes, guidance. Oh man, actually that gives me a video idea. But while I'm on the screen, let me just take a moment to explain this dice rolling mechanic that's going to happen a crap ton in this game. These are ability checks. So in this case, it was a charisma check. So it's going to tell you the difficulty class. And basically what that means is you need to get a dice roll that is equal to or above this, or you fail. So in this case, I got a 19 in total. That was between my roll and the bonus that I had added to it by using the cantrip guidance. So I'm, well above 10, so I succeed on this. But if I got a 9 or below, then I would have failed this roll. And the success or failure of a roll is going to determine, the follow-up to that action. Let me hit continue here.
Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
Something else to just point out quickly, hopefully you saw it before it faded there. You may have seen that it said Gale approves. So the origin characters that you bring with you on your adventures, when they are with you, they can approve or disapprove of the actions you take, the decisions you make. So in this case, Gale approved of me trying to get the tieflings to go away so that we didn't have to get in a fight. And the other two are apparently neutral on it. They didn't approve or disapprove. We need to check out that blast. A blast? What the heck's that about?
Shook our camp good, so we came for a look.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in dire need of healing. Where's the camp? Right. And guidance is still active, so it's automatically adding here. So see, this is my core roll right here that just happened. Also, let's talk about this for a second. 20 critical success. So this is what is called a nat 20 or a natural 20. And basically what it means is you rolled the highest you could possibly roll. Now, there's also something called a dirty 20. And what a dirty 20 means is that you got to 20 not just by your roll, but by something adding on to that roll. So if this was, let's say, a 16, and then the guidance cantrip gave me a +4, that would be a dirty 20. This is a nat or natural 20. So we blew this difficulty class out of the water here. We didn't even need the guidance.
Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
All right.
Careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
All right, yes, shoo.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Yeah. I could tell her to say please. Actually, I'm going to try that.
Never.
So Astarion and Shadowheart liked that I got a little bit of an attitude with her. But Lysel is not one to say stuff like that. So I'm still going to let her down. I just kind of wanted to humiliate her there a little bit. Because she needed to be taken down a peg, but I'm going to shoot her down. Oh, all right, one more. There we go.
The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
So, as you probably gathered from that, Lysel and Shadowheart are not really big fans of each other, but they're gonna have to learn to get along because I want to take them both. So that's just too damn bad. Okay, so let's actually talk about a creche a little bit because a lot of people may not be familiar with what the hell a creche is, especially if you're not familiar with Githyanki.
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a Ghaith tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
So essentially, a creche is a place that is important to the Githyanki. It is a place where they do training. It is a place where they take shelter. It is a place where they take care of their young. And when she says Ghaith, for those of you who were not in the stream earlier, she's talking about the mind flayers. Okay. So we're going to continue giving her a little bit of pushback here. I want to see how far we can push her before she snaps. Simple thank you wouldn't go amiss.
May as well suggest a wyvern bow to worm.
Yeah, I figured that's what you would say.
I offer will suffice as thanks.
All right. Let's journey together.
Full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
No, for now, go to my camp and we can meet there.
Very well, but heed my words. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it. I will be at your camp. Do not keep me waiting.
You'll wait as long as you need to. All right, so you probably saw a couple things going off there. So Gale is generally a good character. He approves of you inviting her to come to the camp and, you know, get help from the party. Astarion and Shadowheart, they are not as easy to please. They're not really fans of her right now. But you know what? It's okay. Everyone will get along eventually. Or they'll start killing each other. One way or another, it'll work out. So I almost have all the origin characters now. I've got one more to get. Oh, Astarion is injured. I did not notice that before. When did that happen?
I made it into the Druid Grove, and there are so many cool things at the vendors now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot better than it was in early access, for sure.
I'm like, where's all my money gone? Oh, right.
Alright, hold on. We're gonna heal Astarion a bit here. Oh, you already had to? I didn't need to give you any potions then. Okay. Time to meet our final origin character.
With haste.
Open the bloody gate!
Not him.
Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second! What's going on? Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now! You let goblins here? Where is the druid? Please, there's no time! By the nine hells, open the gates! Damnable roach! Provoke the blade and suffer its sting.
Alright. We are now in another fight, and this is a bit of a bigger one, but it's not too difficult. Alright. I want to be up higher. Oh, that's Astarion, my bad. That's okay. I can still... Must have advantage against target. Yeah, we don't have enough movement anyway, so let's jump here. Oh, come on. I almost had it. There we go. Woo! There we go. Alright. Now for my character, let's try to get to higher ground. Woo! There we go. Because we're a ranger, so we want to be up here. Darn, I missed. That's okay. So you'll see that the allies are in green. That's how you can tell that they're on your side, and of course the enemies are in red. Alright, Gale, let's put you over here. And let's try out Magic Missile. We were just talking about that earlier, so let's give it a shot. Let's find it. Let's do 2 here and 1 here. There we go. And that's another nice thing about Magic Missile, is that you can direct them in different to different targets. So it's not like you have to direct them all at the one target. Right now, Magic Missile has 3 missiles at this level, so you can hit 3 different enemies if you want to. So it's also versatile too. Let's see. Alright, he's looking a little worse for wear. Can we... not touch. Wake cat? No, we're not quite close enough to affect him. I'm not going to be able to do that. So let's do... let's see if we can kill this guy. No, he's saved. Okay. So just like there are critical hits, there are also critical misses. Oh, hitting her while she's down? That's not nice. So, I don't know how well you can see this, but the color of the ground is different here. It's because there's grease there. So that's why everyone keeps falling on their backs. There are different environmental effects that can influence how you're able to traverse them. So as you saw that guy walking there, it seemed like he was really slow. Again, that's because of the grease. The grease slows your movement and it makes it a lot more likely that you're going to fall prone. And the frozen effect will also make it very likely that you will fall prone when walking across it. But it won't, I don't think it slows you though. All right, let's try to kill this guy off. All right. There we go. Let's jump down. Oh, I'm gonna fall prone if I jump there. Let's be careful where we jump. Okay, I'm gonna set myself up behind him. You are annoying, but you are not my target. High defense, huh? Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get this one. Okay, we still hit him. That's good. Okay, I'm not gonna trigger an attack of opportunity from this one's that I can tell, so I'm gonna move right here. Okay, there we go. Oh. Ooh, that was not ideal for me. Alright, Gale. Let's kill this one off and throw some damage at this one. There we go. And let's just sneak a little bit closer. Alright, Shadowheart. Let's see what we can do with this guy here. Oh, I did not even see you there. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to attack you then. There we go. Now I'm going to get in range of this guy so that if he moves, he can provoke attacks. You missed, Zevlor. So the move that he just did there, jumping out of the grease pit, that's kind of your best bet when you're stuck in like an environment. You just got pushed back into it. But that is kind of your best bet when you're stuck in an environmental effect like that, is try to jump out of it. Don't try to walk through it if you can help it.
Saves you from making an extra
check
against it.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get pushed back in, but you know. Let me see. Can I shove this guy? There we go. Just so I can move Astarion over here. Alright. Now I can hit him with my bow. Critical hit. There we go. No, stop it. Jeez. Got it in for Astarion. Okay. Yeah, let's do Magic Missile again. Let's try to kill this one off and do some damage over here. There we go. Move up a little further. If I need to stop and explain anything, guys, please let me know. Or if I need to slow down. Once you get used to playing these games, this stuff usually goes quickly unless it's like a super complex combat scenario. But yeah, just let me know if I need to stop and explain anything. Let me go hit this warg. There we go. I think I don't need to heal Astarion. We should be out of combat soon. Oh, someone else sealed him. Okay, that works. Yep, we only got the one enemy left, so we're gonna be okay. There we go.
That was the last of them. Inside, all of you, more may follow. Open the gate. Where is the bastard?
Okay. So that is typically the first kind of tough combat encounter you experience in the game. Obviously, if you explore a little differently than I did, then it may not be the first one. But usually people end up over here towards the beginning of their playthrough. And this is really a good kind of practice fight if you're not used to turn-based combat, if you're not really familiar with the mechanics of these types of games. So I do recommend looking to have this as your first, we'll say, real fight, if you are new to these types of games. So on the map, let me bring that up quick. This is where I am on the map. So you start over here. This is where you crash land. And basically you have to traverse either... actually, I don't think you can go that way. So you have to traverse through this dark area here. The destruction of the Nautiloid, come up here, pass by one of these waypoints, roadside cliffs, and then you can either go around this way to the right, or like I did, up through the left here and down, and you'll see that there is another waypoint not too far away. I can see how hours can pass playing this. Oh yes, very, very easily. Man tried to fight the demon general with a mind flare at the beginning. Squidward did not hit a single attack on the demon. Yeah, sometimes that happens. He is not as strong as the demon. Alright, so we're going into Emerald Grove, it's called.
There are children here, you fool!
We was running for our lives.
You led them straight to us, and you let them take the druid too? Unbelievable!
I know, right? I had that same problem, Brandon. It was ridiculous. First try, I was like, nope.
I'm gonna use the ranger option here, and actually let me take that opportunity to point this out. Depending on your race and class, you may have different options in dialogue to choose. So because I am a ranger, I have this option here to say, I've seen much bloodier battles than this, consider yourselves lucky. So, that shouldn't be the reason that you choose a particular race or class, but just be aware that as part of that kind of role-playing environment, you will sometimes get opportunities to use the class or race for a unique response in dialogue.
And who the hell are you again?
Show some respect. This woman saved your pathetic life.
That's right.
Well, I didn't ask for any goddamn help.
Okay, well let's go out there and kill you then.
Anything to save yourself, you coward!
The human's eye twitches. He's about to blow.
These guys are about to start taking swings at each other. Let's see if we can intimidate them into backing off. Alright. Should I use guidance? I keep using guidance. I feel like I'm cheating almost.
I use guidance all the time.
It's hard not to when it's there, you know? It's like
Guidance, friends, there doesn't seem to be any
downside.
So
I didn't even need it anyway. I rolled a 19, but
that's the difference between this and an actual D&D setting. Because like if you're just like waggling your fingers in a D&D setting, it's like, what are you doing?
Alright, so I intimidated them out of having a conflict. Did they add an undo on movement at all? Not that I've noticed. I'll have to look for that next time I'm in combat. Alright, let's talk to Zevlor.
Forgive that display. Aradin's a blowhard, but that's no cause for me to join him. Thank you for your help out there. I'm Zevlor.
And I'm Isria.
Well met. I should warn you, visitors are no longer welcome in this grove.
Well, I won't be staying long.
Business, I'd see to it quickly. The druids are forcing everyone out. This attack will only strengthen their resolve.
Okay. Well, why are they forcing you out?
There have been several attacks by different monsters. The druids blame us outsiders for drawing them here. Nobody's welcome anymore. They've started a ritual to cut the grove off from the world outside. We can't stay, but we'll be slaughtered if we leave. We're no fighters.
Is there any way to convince them to stop?
I've tried. Korga, their new first druid, won't even see me. You, though? I know it's not your business, but she owes you for saving this place. Perhaps you could persuade her. For more time to prepare, if nothing else.
Yeah, alright, I'll see what I can do.
We're messengers now.
Oh, calm yourself, Astarion.
Leave now. We won't make it to the city. You'll find the druids at the heart of the grove. Please, make them see sense before more lives are lost.
Alright. Everyone calm their biscuits. Side quests get you experience. Alright, let's go to this guy so we can sell a bunch of junk we've picked up.
No, you just care about your stupid...
Refugees, adventurers, no one in years, and suddenly we're overwhelmed. Well met. And thank you for beating back those goblins. Most brave of you. Is there anything you need? Act fast if you do. The ritual will be complete before too long.
So you're really locking down the grove?
But more monsters seem to terrorize this region every day.
Okay, there are people here though.
We'll be safe. As for those that took refuge here, well, may Sylvanas guard them as they continue their travels.
I mean, you just said there's an overrun by monsters, so...
It's a drastic measure, but the survival of the grove is paramount. There just aren't enough supplies to support everyone.
Alright.
Just some bits and bobs I no longer need.
Sounds a little selfish to me. Okay, let's see what we can offload here. Hammer. Onyx. Gonna use that. Bottles, buckets. Will. Necklace with no abilities on it. Another necklace with no abilities. Shadowheart already has a +2 shield, so we don't need that. We don't have a bard, so we don't need the leer. Lots of melee weapons we don't need.
I won't leave them behind.
You're going to get us killed.
Lots and lots of weapons we picked up, jeez.
Gloves of missile snaring.
That. Care about that. That. Rotten chicken eggs? I'm curious what you can do with those, so I guess I'll hang on to them. So, okay. That's pretty much offloading what I don't need. Ooh, he does have a special bow. Spell Thief, 4 to 11 damage. Arcane Vehemence. Once per short rest, you regain a level 1 spell slot when you land a critical hit with the Spell Thief. Interesting. It's a longbow. Okay, and this is 250 gold. Alright. That's not too much more than what I want to sell here, so let's do it. Thank you, sir.
Sylvanas guide your path.
Okay. I just equipped my new bow. Oh.
Don't touch me.
Oh, calm yourself.
You have my attention.
Okay, let's give Shadowheart a bow in case she needs it. There we go. Alright, so we've sold our goodies, we've talked to Zevlor, and now we're gonna go talk to the final origin character that we have to get into our party. Well, you don't have to, but that I want to get into the party.
Go on. Give me a best shot. Not bad. Again.
I can't do it. I'm not like you.
Umi, I don't need you to be like me. You just have to buy enough time to run. Come on. I believe in you. You can do this.
Yeah. You do well to listen, little one.
You're on the right path, Umi. Go on now. Practice what you've learned. Well met. The blade of frontiers at your...
The man's smile bends downward, and his thoughts become yours. You are the blade of frontiers racing through the wastes of Avernus. Just ahead, a diabolical figure, red skin, single curled horn, blazes with flame, bloodied great axe held.
Hell's great fires. You were on the ship.
Who was that woman, the one in your thoughts?
You saw her then. Advocatus Diaboli. Her name is Karlak. An archdevil soldier I swore on my good eye to kill. I tracked her through the hells to the Mindflayer ship, but the damned Illithids infected me before I could end her. She's out there now, preying on the innocent. I don't kill her, she'll leave behind nothing but a trail of corpses.
I'm a little more concerned about the parasite.
An excellent suggestion, but your party's full up. Still, when the time comes, call for the blade. I won't be long to answer.
Well, why don't you go to the camp then?
A splendid plan. We'll talk more there.
Alright. And there we have it. That is the final origin character, or at least original origin character, to get in my party. So now, when I do a long rest and go to camp, the other two will be waiting there.
Can we stop shouting?
Alright. Speaking of... Let's see.
I applaud your taste.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt to do a long rest since we're all kind of running low on spell slots, huh? Let's just find a place to kind of put ourselves. Let's go down here. Alright. Alright, Mr. DM, do you want to talk about the differences between long rests and short rests?
Sure. Short rest is basically, you know, you just finished a fight, or, you know, you're out of spell slots, or you're down in health for a little while and you've been adventuring for a little bit, and you need like a 15-minute break. And that gives you a moment to like kind of stop, catch your breath, relax a little bit, recover slightly. Some classes and some features allow you to do things on a short rest. For instance, warlocks regain their spell slots on a short rest. Sorcerers get sorcery points back on a short rest. So a couple classes and everything, you know, can do stuff like that. Long rest is you fully recover everything. So you're out of spell slots, you're out of any extra points or key or whatever you have going on. That replenish on long rest, you recover everything, and you also recover any health over a long rest as well.
Yeah, with short rests in Baldur's Gate 3 at least, you do recover some health. But not all of it.
Not all of it.
Right. Alright, thank you. We are gonna go ahead and trigger a long rest. Alright, so in Baldur's Gate, when you trigger a long rest, you are triggering to go to the campsite. So whoever you have left behind in your travels will be waiting there for you. You'll also see that the clothing has changed on everyone. This is because the armor has been shed and everyone is in their casual clothes now. So Astarion's here. Let's see. Lysel's somewhere. It's Will. Gale's over here doing something. Actually, where is Lysel? I told her to meet me at camp. Oh, there she is. Man, you just blended right in. I didn't even see you. Okay. So when you go to camp and there are conversations that can happen, you will see a exclamation point above the character's head. So Gale has some kind of conversation to have with us.
Be with you in a moment.
What are you doing?
Spot of vanity. Handsome devil, aren't I? Be that as it may. Ceramorphosis. What does it make you think of?
The tadpole.
Spot on. Day 1, fever and memory loss. Day 2, hallucinations and graying skin. Day 3, hair loss and blood leaking from all orifices. Need to go on?
Yep. Keep going.
Excruciating pain as the skeleton and organs reform and reposition. Day 5, the host personality has disappeared. Fingers and toes and limbs elongate. I take it you get the picture?
I do, but finish it up.
Around the mouth splits to make way for tentacles. Day 7, a mind flayer is born. This is the
I don't think they did,
version,
Brandon.
Of course.
I don't think there was an undo movement.
Not that I saw.
I wish there was. Sometimes I accidentally click it and don't mean to.
I think you meant to say abbreviated.
This, our orifices remain blissfully unblooded, our heads remain clear, and our blood temperature normal. Any expert will agree this is abnormal.
Long live the abnormal.
Close to that. The pragmatic in me, however, sees only the silence before the storm. Something to sleep on. We should get some rest.
All right. So we have now talked to Gale. He had something specific to say to us. Although, we can still talk to the other party members, even if they don't have an exclamation point above their head.
I saw you getting a lecture from our magical friend. I have to say, I thought you'd look worse, but no. Not a tentacle to be seen.
Could say the same to you.
You could. We're all doing surprisingly well, given the circumstances. I'm not taking anything for granted, of course. First sign of change, and I'll have to stop that pretty little heart of yours. I am open to suggestions. Knives, poison, strangulation, whatever you'd prefer.
Not sure. How would you like to go?
I don't think poison is for me. Nor stabbing, come to think of it. I always felt decapitation was a fine choice. One good swing and then nothing. But
Fair
when we're
enough.
talking about you, what'll it be?
Decapitation sounds good, actually.
A fine choice. Now, to use sword or axe or saw?
No, not a saw.
Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is all a worst-case scenario, obviously.
Obviously.
If the last day has taught me anything, it's that the impossible is more likely than you think. Now, let's get some rest. The sooner we start tomorrow, the better our chances of keeping this hypothetical.
This is true. This is true. Let's just go around and say hello to everyone. Get a read on everyone's personalities.
Dominations grow inside us. Our bones should ache. Our mouths should bleed. Yet we thrive. It is madness. Keep your rest short. Time is not our ally.
Yes, Lizo. Alright. Say hello to Will over here.
Question for you. Have you ever heard a banshee's scream?
Yeah, I think I have.
Incredible, wasn't it? Loud enough to wake the dead and shrill enough to shatter a golden goblet. I thought it the most terrible noise in all 16 planes. But there's one even more fearsome than that.
Lysel's tenacious battle cries.
Not even close. I find them comforting even. What I'm thinking of is far more malicious. The doubt in our minds crying out for attention. It's hopeless, it says. Stop resisting. Give up and give in. Doubt is the greatest villain we face. Greater than all the hell's devils. Greater than a murderous god. Most people don't find it so easy to conquer. It's a good thing for us that we aren't most people. Slay your doubt and nothing can stop you. Not a demon, not a dragon, and certainly not an illithid worm. I'm glad to see you're not one to give up.
Well, thank you, Will. That was very kind. Where the heck is Shadowheart? Off on her own, I see. What you up to?
Couldn't help but overhear. Well, alright, I could have helped, but didn't. Anyway, I feel the same. Other than the occasional mental exchange, it's almost as if we're not infected. The voice on the ship told me I'd become a beautiful weapon. What do you think it meant?
Beautiful weapon, huh? Sounds like it has plans.
Whatever they were, those plans were interrupted by the dragons. Either way, we can't take the lack of symptoms for granted. We have to find a healer. Well, I've said my piece. Get some rest.
Right, I have talked to everyone. So we will go ahead and get some rest. Go to bed. And, oh, for this long rest system in Baldur's Gate 3, you have to use camp supplies if you want to regain your hit points and spell slots. So you see at the top here, 0 out of 40. So if you want to regain everything, you gotta use 40 camp supplies. And it can be, you know, a combination of different things. And if you scroll over these items or hover over these items, you'll see that they have different quantities applied to them for how much they count for camp supplies. So like this poutine, for instance, and great, now I'm hungry, thank you, is 20 camp supplies. This haggis is 21, so you get the idea. Okay, so we'll just use one of the supply packs for now, which is a full 40. And do a full rest and regain everything. Oh. And somebody's being a sneaky snake. I don't know what he's up to, but he was being sneaky. He didn't want to wake us. Alright. and we have woken up and we are rested. We've got our spell slots back. Everyone's up to full health and good to go. Unfortunately, we are going to have to be good to go too, because it is still a work night, which, as I said, is unfortunate. I would like to stay up all night playing this, and all morning, and all day, etc., etc. You get the point. So, I'm gonna pause it here, but I just want to give people a last opportunity to ask any questions that they may have while the DM is still with us on D&D mechanics, races, classes, abilities, skills, lore, even anything like that. This is your last opportunity to ask the DM. Although I will say, if you can't think of questions right now, and you're like, later on, you're like, damn it, now I think of something, of course, because that's the way it works, right?
That's always how it works.
We are going to be doing a special one-shot stream on Saturday, and Greg, the wonderful DM friend, will be on that one-shot stream, as well as my husband Brandon and our other friend Grim. So if you're just like, I got nothing now, and you think, damn it, I have a bunch of questions now, feel free to join in on the Saturday stream, which will be probably somewhere around 1 o'clock-ish in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, because Greg will be there as well, and can address D&D questions if they come up. So any last questions before we wrap it up for the night? Anything D&D, Baldur's Gate 3, anything at all? I'm gonna give chat a little bit of time to catch up with me, because I know there's a delay, so I'm gonna give it a little bit. There's always a little bit of a delay. I've got it on ultra
I thought that was just
low.
my brain.
No, well, you know, it's not just your brain.
I mean, it is a factor sometimes.
Yeah, it may have something to do with it, but it's not just your brain. All right, it looks like there are no questions at this time, so we'll end it here. I will be picking up again tomorrow. Oh, hold on. There is a question, actually. Let me back it up. Big question from behind the DM screen. How do you think Baldur's Gate 3 stacks up to tabletop as an adaptation? Oh, that's a good question.
That's good. Good question. It stacks up, I think, really well. Obviously, it's a game setting, so anything that's in this is coded. Like, you can only do things in this that they've made code for, because it's a game.
Right.
However, in an actual D&D game, like I've said before, like, sky's the limit. Like, your limit is your imagination. So by thinking outside the box, by figuring out a way that you're going to handle a certain problem or whatever, you know, you can't really do that here. You're still limited by what spells, abilities, dice rolls, whatever you have in this setting that you wouldn't normally have at a D&D table session. However, from a mechanics standpoint, from a lore standpoint, from just how the combat looks, the scenery, the music. I mean, speaking as, you know, I was heavily involved with music for a long time. You know, music is phenomenal in this game, and it just lends that much more to everything that you're experiencing here. But yeah, everything about this is, without a doubt, a perfect or near perfect example of 5th edition combat and storytelling and everything. So it is very, very close, if not the best thing that I've ever seen as a D&D representation on PC gaming or any kind of gaming that I think you can get. Because until we get to the point where we can have those codes for those situations where it's like, oh, I did this, that, and the other thing. It's like, oh, I never thought of that. Well, I guess make a roll and see if it works. Until we can get to that point in coding, I don't think we'll necessarily truly ever get to be a perfect comparison between the two, or a perfect facsimile between the two.
Right.
But aside from that, for virtual gaming, like this is spot on. It's absolutely the best D&D thing that I've played on any console.
Yeah. And I myself am no DM, of course, but from what I know about D&D and my experiences with it, I mean, I think this is kind of as good as it gets right now. Maybe down the road that will no longer be true, but right now I would say if you're looking for a D&D experience that you can have single player, or a D&D experience that you want to have visually, this is it. Like this is your best option. There's just so much love and attention put into this. Poor Frodo. Okay. Yep.
Poor Frodo.
We also are Lord of the Rings fans, so totally acceptable.
Yep, I approve of this.
But there's just so much love and passion put into this game, and I don't know how much you guys know about Larian Studios as a company, if you've played other games by them. If you haven't, I highly recommend playing Divinity Original Sin 2. Fantastic game.
Yep.
It's not as complex as this one, of course, but it really is great. Highly recommend it. Larian Studios is a company that I kind of use as a role model because I'm actually an indie game developer myself. I am working with one other person on a game, and I can tell you that it is not even close to the scale or complexity of this, because this requires a much bigger team. But Larian is kind of like something to aspire to, something to be inspired by, not only because they produce these really phenomenal products, but because they are also studios that are full of passionate, intelligent, creative people who are gamers themselves. So the best way that you can make a game is to have it made by gamers, for the gamers, right? That's what we want. We want people whose vision is going to be similar to ours, that they're going to take the care and attention needed with the mechanics, with the little things, the attention to detail that people who are not gamers, they might just not think about, right? So this is a fantastic game. If you haven't played early access, well, you're still in for a treat because you haven't seen any of this yet. So this is going to be a brand new, wonderful experience for you. And even if you have played early access, there's just a million new things to enjoy about this. So anyone playing this right now is in for a real treat. Now, there may be a little snags here and there along the way. I have seen a few little graphical glitches here and there. So far, they've been minor. I've only crashed once. That was during character creation on my private playthrough. That's been the only one so far, so it's been relatively smooth. It's been good so far. Anyways, I'm starting to go off on a little bit of a tangent there because I'm just I'm very much a fan of Larian Studios. I'm very much a fan of this game. I started playing this game like as soon as it entered early access. Like, I've been in it for the long haul, and I am just so excited that the full version is finally here. I'm just going to be playing the absolute crap out of this game, both on the channel and off the channel. All right, so I'm going to stop ranting now. So thank you to everyone who has come to the stream today, to the people who dropped in earlier and couldn't stay, to the people who have asked questions, for the people who are here now, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful stream. And of course, a big, massive thank you to Greg, my wonderful DM friend, who has come along for the ride to answer all your D&D questions. So thank you very much, Greg.
No problem. Happy to answer the questions.
Yeah, and of course, like I said, this is a very extra special stream because it's so many things going on at once. So I also want to say thank you to my my subscribers. Hitting 200, like I think this morning actually, was a big milestone for the channel. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed. If you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, check out a couple of the videos and see if you like it enough to subscribe. The more the merrier. But thank you all. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned. I will be streaming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. There's a lot more Baldur's Gate to go. So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the channel. And I will see you soon.
See you later.